Here we go then. It's Saturday afternoon and time for another Racing Post Live. Myself, Dave Orton, thrilled to be back out there with you. Welcome along to the show. If you're new, get involved. If you're on YouTube, you just have to subscribe. Like and subscribe. Get involved with all the chat. This is an interactive betting show. That's what it's all about this afternoon. We're covering all the terrestrial TV races for you on the eve of Cheltenham. We go to Sandown, of course, the Imperial Cup being the highlight for many there. We'll also be going to Wolverhampton. Whisper it. The Lincoln is on the horizon. Who's looking at that at the moment? But it is Wolverhampton's big day in the sun. We'll be having some fun on the all-weather for you there. 1:31 we kick off, 1:31, and we finish at 3:35. Great stuff with our sponsors Betfair along the way. What can we do for you out there? Let us know. We'll be putting up a tip in most races and hopefully boosting those Cheltenham banks. Plenty of time, guys, in between the races today as well later on. Let's be having it then. All the dust has settled. Now you can start concentrating on those 5-day decks. Let's see your handicap fancies, your lays of the week, whatever you want. Get involved. Who joins me then this afternoon for some fun? Right, I'm delighted to say, and this has been a long time in the making this, but he's made it. We're amazed to say. Jerry McGrath joins us as well, former top jockey, 2-time festival winner. Does it seem like a long time ago now, Jerry?
Yeah, I suppose it does, Dave. Really, yeah. Like I said, I've been looking forward to coming on this show for a while, and now I'm retired. I have a bit more free time. Well, I actually probably don't have any more free time than I did before, but more free time at the weekends, that's for sure.
We'll get into that, and we're delighted to have you because you were doing a big preview last night in Ireland. You've managed to get the plane and come on in. You're showing much more professional outfit than most of us in here, I can tell you that much. So delighted to have you along the way.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And Dave, you do a bit of work, obviously still in the Nicky Henderson yard. You were Nicky's jockey for many, many years. Obviously injury hit and you had to retire a bit early, but you do the blood start. Get your questions in for Jerry along the way. Honestly, guys, happy to answer most things.
Yeah.
But you also do a bit of work with Clive Cox as a Cox horse running on the all-weather today. So you didn't have a ride on the flat, did you?
Not as a professional. I did as an amateur.
You meet jump jockeys, right? And they are often lumbering chaps like myself, just very skinny. But you have the physique of a flat jockey, so I'm not...
I don't know about that now anymore. But yeah, I did as an amateur years and years ago, but not as a professional. But I love the flat side of things as well. And obviously being involved in the bloodstock world, it's probably a good angle to have as well.
Yeah, great stuff. And Cheltenham on the horizon. Let's go down the panel then as well. Jerry's with us. Brilliant stuff, as is Kate Tracey back on the show. Pressing the buttons for Betfair today, but also giving some hot tips, I hope.
Oh, we hope so. Anyway, yeah, it feels like I've done about 1 million previews in these last few weeks. So
your face has been out there, Kate.
Yeah, to be fair, I know, I apologise for that. I really do.
None needed.
Yeah, that's it. Going through people's phones and through their social media and everything, my face and voice probably popping up a lot. So apologies for that. But yeah, looking forward to it.
Let's stick on that vibe for a little bit. You know, we've been the insatiable appetite for the Cheltenham Festival now, isn't it? I mean, ridiculous, isn't it? So these previews start, goodness knows when the first one was. I wouldn't mind betting you were on one of the first ones. But how are you playing it now? 5-day decks are out. Is it sort of clean slate time and see where you were, or?
Oh no, I have complete bias from months ago, basically, that still influences me. Unfortunately, a lot of the horses for the handicaps I had previously cited are now going elsewhere or taking in the graded contest. So in that sense, I need to revisit the Potemps, the Grand Annual, a few races, basically every single handicap.
The easy ones.
Yeah, the easy ones. Yeah, it'll take me no time, sure.
Yeah, all right, great stuff. And of course, you know Jerry well, don't you?
Yes, yeah, exactly. No, last time we saw each other was Swindon Greyhound track.
Greyhound track, yeah.
Oh, we're going to have some crack in here this afternoon, and I've got a feeling it's a good time to be with your greyhounds as well. We will get there, but we must go to Dublin. The big hitters in situ, Barry Orr.
Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to the show, Jerry. Good to see you. Good to meet you for the first time.
Yeah,
well,
good to see you, Barry.
Airwaves, anyway.
You can get some of the lowdown on some of how the Seven Barrows horses have been working this afternoon, Barry. The traders might be listening in.
I'm looking forward to the insight that will be afforded by the man on the ground. Is that what we'll call him?
Absolutely, very much so. Yeah, I mean, just quickly before we get some housekeeping out of the way with Barry. I mean, you do know a lot about what's going on there, don't you?
Yeah, like I said, I suppose, like you said earlier, I'm probably part of the furniture in Seven Barrows now. And when I did have to retire, Nicky was very adamant that I had a big part still to play in Seven Barrows. And I'm still in there kind of 3 days a week and doing a lot of kind of race planning and entries with them. So yeah, we're having good fun.
Your time in the work, are you? Now you can have a bet as well. So
Yeah,
it's tricky times,
true. Yeah, I still haven't opened a betting account though. No, I still haven't done that.
Time.
I was hoping I might get some special offer today or something like that. You know.
There we are,
No,
absolutely.
Only you should ask, Jerry. Only you should ask.
Barry, it's a great day, isn't it? How do we play today? I mean, so many punters, not your average Saturday punter. They take the whole week off, don't they? So for some, it will be starting here, the festival.
I suppose the key is you don't want to put a hole in the little tank you've built up over the last couple of months, squirreling away your few quid. Everyone's budgeted a few quid to have a couple of bets at Cheltenham. So the key is to play a kind of defensive bat today. There's a couple of fancied horses. Betfair Sportsbook playing 5 places in that first race in Sandown at 150. In the Imperial Cup, they're playing 6 places. So probably each way plays in those races if you fancy something. But yeah, definitely just keep it nice and tight today with a view to not blown any holes in the tank ahead of Tuesday.
And how's the Raw growing, Barry? How's the Raw growing?
Yeah, this is the last week, the third and final week of Grow Your Roar on the Betfair Sportsbook or Exchange. Bet £20 and you get £10 free bet. So if you've bet £20 on horse racing on the Sportsbook Exchange each week for the last 3 weeks, on Monday the 14th of March, you'll have £30 free bet from Betfair to play around with at the festival. So even if you haven't got involved in the previous weeks, lads, you can have £20 on the Betfair Sportsbook or Exchange today on horse racing and you get a free tenner bet. So what's bad about that?
Absolutely nothing whatsoever. All right, so shall we get some trades out the way? Barry will be playing in every single race. We do it for charity. Not sure if we've got the charity yet, Barry, have we?
We haven't just yet. We didn't nominate one for the month of March.
Should
so
we go
did throw it open to
Should we go well, Child? They're doing this the Cheltenham again, I think, aren't they? I saw it in the week that they're doing it again. I'm sure we did well, Child, last year, didn't we?
Sure, we did, Dave, to tell you the truth. We'll throw it open to the floor again, or
Fine.
Jerry might have a good idea. Ideally, it'd be great. Like, Well Child's a great charity, and we do support that in another way. Betfair does throughout the year. So ideally, I'd like to stick to a horse racing specific charity where we're helping our own, really, like Injured Jockeys Fund or retraining of racehorses, anything like that. But we'll throw it open to the floor on social and see what people come back with. In terms of housekeeping, we're going to do a lucky 15. So that's 6 doubles, 4 trebles, an accumulator, and 4 single bets. So it's 15 bets in total. We're going to do it for £1 each way. So it's going to cost us £30 each way, lucky 15 to 4 horses. In the 150 in Sandown, Dubrovnik Harry. I'll speak about these in bigger detail come the time. In the 225 at Sandown, Grabisi de Versailles, and then we're going to switch over to Wolverhampton, and there's 2 in Wolverhampton I like. In the first race we're covering in Wolverhampton at 131, we're going to go above, and then in the 240 in Wolverhampton, we're going to pick Highfield Princess is my nap of the day. I can't believe she's nearly 8-1 on the Betfair Exchange. I think that's an absolute All-Ireland price. She really is a marvellous filly, but again, we'll talk about her in more detail. Kate, we're going to do it for, like I said, £1 each way, so it's going to cost us €30.
And that wouldn't be a bad payout, Barry, would it now?
No.
Kate will tell us there. What are we, Kate? If they all 4 win, what are we getting?
£23,016.95 to be specific there. So that would be nicely setting us up for Cheltenham, wouldn't it, Barry?
That would be happy days ahead of the festival. Yeah, you're already winning.
We should have some oohs and ahs. No payouts bad. Of course, isn't it safe gambling? That's the MO here from Betfair and ourselves at the Racing Post. You don't have to play in every single race. Some people wanted to keep the powder dry, but you get raucous reaction. You'll watch us reacting to the races. We'll give you our real-time analysis afterwards. If you want to know where your horse money went, basically, this is the place to be. And let's get that Cheltenham chat properly started, shall we? The previews are done. Come on, let's hear from you now. Who's going? Let us know out there. I can see the chat boxes are ramping up. We'll give you your chance to have a say. But we've got to go to Wolverhampton now, Barry. It is the 131. Oh, his race time. 6 furlongs. It's a burn-up. And you're with above. Marco Chiani, not a bad man to have on your side.
Yeah, I like this horse. But in the market at the moment, Sarzini is your favourite at 4.2. 5.5 Whitlow Woods. Exalted Angel, 8.6. Mighty Gurkha has been some money for that. Kevin Blake put that up on the Racing Only Better podcast yesterday. He's a 10.0 above, currently 9.8. I'm just going to back him to win only here, Kate. And again, I'm happy to be a price taker at 10.0 he is now. I'm happy to be a price taker. We're just going to have 25 quid on him. And Marco Gianni for Stuart Williams got back to winning ways when third when he won on his third start for Stuart Williams since arriving from Archie Watson's. He won a neck from Regional and Chelmsford, and I think he could come on significantly for that run as well. So it's not a race I have a very strong opinion in, so just 25 quid win that hopefully get us off to a winning start.
Great stuff then. All right, to the sand dunes we go of Wolverhampton. Have you ever been to Wolverhampton before as a racetrack?
Yeah, plenty actually. Obviously, I rode there on the flat years ago, and obviously 2 years ago we had a few bumpers around there.
Of course.
Yeah, during the winter.
What were they like?
Of all places, of all the tracks.
Yeah, there's a lot said about them, weren't there?
Yeah.
That's a beautiful.
True, and Wolverhampton in general, it's a very sharp track, and especially on jump horses.
It's that home bend, isn't it, from 2 furlongs out? Let's get some tips then. A horse that I've been putting up on this show, plenty will know. Do you know what? I think going back up to 6 furlongs will suit Exalted Angel, Clifford Leon, Carl Burke. He looks like a bit of a monkey. That could be the thing. But from stall 6, there's plenty of pace in this. Great to see the mighty Gurkha back out, guys, isn't it? Yeah. We know that he'll go on. But there is pace pressures in there. He'll do for me. Did you have a look, Joe? Did we make you tip in this race?
Yeah, and I did actually. And I have a strong fancy to, and it's a second favourite. And just see there's a few quid for it. Whittle the Woods. I saw this horse win, I think it was a week ago, maybe around Suddle. And he was very keen that day and still won. He's up in grades. I think, they'll go faster, which I think will suit him even better. And he's got 8 stone 2, and they're claiming 3 off it. So he's got a featherweight, and I think at 15 to 4, which is a very unusual price. But I think he's got a great chance.
Yeah, there are some strange prices out there, fractions-wise. Now, he's got a future at this game, hasn't he?
I was going to say, that was just straight off the cuff. That was very
I was sat in the airport this morning. So
all right, it's a high bar. It's a high bar you're sitting, Jerry. What about you, Kate?
Yeah, I agree with Jerry, actually. I'm going to sound like I'm just copying him now, what he said, but I completely agree with everything about Whittle the Woods. I mean, Zarzini has every chance, clearly, but Whittle the Woods, with the consistent form he brings into this as well. And he's just really improved since joining McAppleby from Michael Dodson this winter, winning 3 times, 2 of which 7 furlong handicaps at Chelmsford and at this track as well. So he has that course form. And he did, as Jerry said, prove himself over the 6 furlongs the last time out, then in the Class 4 at Southwell, justifying his favouritism. Thought he was more value than the margin suggested.
Okay, great stuff. 2 for Whittle the Woods then. Off we go. First race of the day. Good luck wherever you're playing. And Above has fallen out of the gates, Barry. That's not great. It's not too bad, is it? None of us mentioned Zarzini, the Fab. Was that a lay for you out there? He's going to on-look from the rear then. Here comes the pace pressure. Amazingly, the mighty Gurkha, well, he hasn't really been asked to go to the front. Can't get there. No. What's going to go on then? The outside of the lot. Muladim, he's going on at the moment. Exalted Angel, my play. Lovely sit there. Now look at the outside. How wide do you want to go around Wolverhampton? Not too far, Jerry.
No, the flat lads, they never like going more than 2 wide for sure.
You've got a beautiful sit there in the middle. Whittle the Woods.
Couldn't be any happier with that, really, where we are, I'd say.
Yeah, who's this, look, trying to get into it? Full authority out the back under Robert Tart. The favourite, I tell you what, it makes your hair pull out, doesn't he? The Baron or Zarzini. He's got to come from last first. Now they're going for it then. Okay, the outside, Exalted Angel. What's he got up his sleeve this time? Whittle the Woods gets the split. Above on the outside. Has he done a bit too much? Look at Zarzini on the inside. You don't want to be going inside at Wolverhampton.
He's trying to give him
Come on then, first race of the day. Could this be a Jerry McGrath flyer in the first race? Whittle the Woods takes it up then. I tell you what, class is permanent. Here comes Zarzini. Can he spot the party? Go on, Jerry. Let's shout this up. Welcome to Racing Post Live, my friend. The first race of the day. Oh, there we go.
You might as well just go now.
You may as well go, my friend.
Check out now.
Happy days. I tell you what, we've been excited about getting Jerry in. Let's hope you followed him and Kate in. Kate's just hot at the moment, Barry. Above and my player, Exalted Angel, nowhere.
Yeah, Zarzini traded at a low of 2's on, would you believe? 1.52 when it came with a bit of a rattle. Whittle the Woods hit a high of 24 in running. Had a Betfair SP of 5.5, so 9-2. Great start for the guys. Well done.
Happy days. All right, lovely jubbly. Who else had it out there? Let us know. Remember, this is your show. You make it. Get involved. Myself, Dave Orton, Jerry McGrath making his debut today, Kate Tracey pressing the buttons for Barry Orr over in Dublin. Top team for you all the way to 3:35. Cheltenham chat all the way. Do you know what? It's got a bit of an end of term feel today, hasn't it? And the pressure's off now, my man.
Yeah, true. And just watch the replay. He's won with his ears pricked, isn't he? He hasn't done a whole pile when he's got to the front. He might be value for a few more pounds the next day.
Yeah, I mean, look, let's concentrate on it a little bit. You know, the Lincoln is on the horizon. We've got the Lincoln Trial coming up, the next race we're doing. It's a race that's had very little bearing on it, but it's a very interesting race. And I don't know, it keeps us going through the winter, doesn't it? This has been an unusual winter. And I think we counted at Racing Post the other day, some clever people, that only 4 meetings domestically here in Britain have been called, ahead of their scheduled time. It's been that warm winter, hasn't it? But usually we've only got Southwell on, in the run-up to Christmas where the snow's everywhere and all that sort of thing. A lot of people like betting on it because, they know the horses week in, week out. And Mick Appleby just gets these horses on a roll, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Like I said, when you go from the turf to the all-weather, you get a nearly different set of trainers, different set of jockeys that kind of, really do well through the winter. And like I said, Mick Appleby, he's incredible. And he just seems to get these horses and just improves them. And they buy him, like I said, especially with the horse watchers, like they're a shrewd operation. They know what they're doing when they're at the sales buying these horses. They know what they want them for. They serve their purpose.
And Theodore Ladd, that's a 6th all-weather winner for him, young lad who had a beautiful split there, didn't he? Zarzini, wow, another second place. Not even Jamie Spencer, of course, who tried to do what Jamie does so well. Mm-hmm. Even he made a monkey of him.
Yeah, it's so tricky, isn't it? As we say at Wolverhampton time and time again, they're choosing that inside line when coming from off the pace there. You are riding for a fair degree of luck. We know that that's how Zarzini is ridden. And that's why I thought Jamie Spencer would just be basically a perfect sit then for him. But even so at Wolverhampton, the races just conspire against him. And I can see why he traded low in running, because being the favourite, you're always trying to note where he was. Everything for his race plan was going according to plan. However, when you look at where the winner has come from, then sat handy, perfect passage then throughout, and Theodore Ladd has just given him every chance. And as Jerry said, I think he has one with a fair amount really in hand. So he only wins by narrow margins, but that's why he has this consistent run of form because of that.
Yeah, Mick Appleby. So can he win again? It was the ideal Wolverhampton trip, wasn't it? We're off and running then this afternoon. Great to have you with us along the way. Let us know you are out there. Anything on Twitter? Hashtag RP Live, of course. Barry, you're going to be on course for us all week, doing stuff for Betfair, of course, but with us in the afternoons. When do you fly over, man?
Monday morning, early Monday morning, straight to the track, get settled in, get a bit of work done, walk the course. I love the Monday in Cheltenham. There's such a great buzz around the place, and it's great to get out, meet old friends, and go and walk the course, and then go into town and have a nice bit of lunch, maybe.
Not your first trip over, of course, in the last week, is it?
No, it's certainly not. No, I was in London on Wednesday with Kate for the Betfair Cheltenham preview, which we recorded in our Hammersmith office in London. I went there for a nice lunch then. We had a double Christmas party rolled into one afternoon. Obviously, the guys who do the Racing Only Better and Weighed In podcast, we hadn't all met up for 2 years, would you believe, almost to the day. So, we took a bit of catching up to do, and we made the most of the opportunity to meet up in London. It was a fantastic day and night.
You're looking a lot fresher than I was expecting, Barry, to be honest.
Yeah, you want to see me yesterday. The last 48 hours hasn't been pretty, I'll tell you that, Kate.
I tell you what, I think I'd love to see the receipt on the expenses there, Barry, and Mayfair. I think half of Twitter saw it as well. And who knew that Ryan McHugh had that in his locker as well? If you haven't seen it, go and check out Barry's Twitter feed. It's a good crack. Look, the world is opening up, Jerry. Last year was just bizarre, wasn't it? We'll get to Kate on this in a minute as well. That roar comes back. You've experienced it firsthand. You've won there twice. Un Artiste 2012. I should know because I've done a show with you recently. And the other one was the Ultima.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, 3 years ago.
No?
Beware the Bear.
Beware the Bear.
How you managed to get him to win at the festival.
Yeah, he didn't do much afterwards.
So you've won over hurdles. Un Artiste was in the Threadwind at the Boodles.
Yeah, when I was
of course, and you won over fences as well.
Yeah.
That roar, it's going to be bigger than ever. This is what we wanted, wasn't it, last year? Times are good, aren't they, for racing at the moment?
Yeah,
We've got to sort of embrace that, really.
Yeah, and I think, with what's gone on in the world and what's going on at the moment, I think we have to appreciate how lucky we are, to be involved in this industry, to be able to make a living from...
Lift the spirits?
Yeah, exactly, yeah, for sure. And I think everyone's really anticipating the roar next Tuesday. It's
How does it affect
incredible.
some horses? We were speaking a little bit when you came into the office, and you said even on the second circuit, it comes back at you, the roar, doesn't it? And horses just... Do they react a little bit?
But I think even before that, even like the preliminaries beforehand, like the likes of John Bond, Flooring Porter.
You mentioned it first.
Flooring Porter, these are all kind of quirky / lunatic horses, and like last year would really have suited them, and it did Flooring Porter.
No. Remember, you are live here, and you're at the
I know.
Racing Post. Just called John Bond a lunatic.
Well, no, a lunatic.
It's on camera, Jerry.
They have tendencies to be lunatics, but no, like I said, I think it's going to be very interesting. And like I said, even the preliminaries this year with the crowds, and even just walking down the chute from the parade ring down to the track. Like, there are 25 people deep either side, and it lights you up as a person, never mind a thoroughbred racehorse who's full of blood and ready to run for their life.
The good times are back, of course. Really, Kate, you came onto our radar, well, we've known about you for a long time, Kate, but really last year was when you were vlogging from the track. Is that what they call it?
Oh, nice term there. Are you?
I'm learning
very
the
relevant.
game.
Very relevant.
But you worked for Willie Mullins at the track, didn't you? And it's fair to say you brought it to social media, what was going on there. You had your own little, was it pods that you were in?
Yes, the bunker bins.
Bunker bins.
Yeah, their official names.
And they're back again this year. I actually saw them on the track.
Yeah, I've heard this. A few bunker bins are back. I don't know who's staying in them, but maybe a few staff are being overflow or something. But yeah, so that was all of last year. I was trying to just to showcase to what was really going on behind the scenes, because it was just such a bizarre festival, and to gauge any sort of understanding for onlookers and punters alike, just for what the reality of it was like last year, trying to sort of show that as best I possibly could, and basically just gave me a perfect excuse to indulge in everything going on around me, and lucky enough to be doing it again this year.
Well, it was great, and you got to mix obviously with the team, didn't you?
Yeah.
Of course, you know, Blue Cyrus Horse you looked after, but we saw pictures of you with Allaho, the rest of them. You know, that was obviously you were lucky enough to be there. You're going to be a foot soldier again. We're going to be seeing you plenty next week for the Racing Post as well.
Yes.
Exciting times.
Yeah, perfect blend then this year of sort of, like you say, being on the ground then with the horses and with the Mullins team again, and also with Racing Post Live in the mornings on the Thursday and the Friday morning as well. So yeah, perfect blend. Get to dress up some days and then get to wear coats and boots and my slacks the rest of the time.
You've come Cheltenham vibe. Are you feeling the heat a little bit?
Yes, I really am. Can you tell?
Yeah, okay. All right, look, we're having some fun. We've got the 150 at Sandown on the horizon. Shall we get back to some jumping? Barry Orr, the EBF final. Now, you luckily enough had me going down for the Betfair cameras to Ditchy on Monday. He put me away, man. He didn't tell me Nappers Hill would be running.
Yeah, I think he was betwixt and between running here or hopefully holding them back and being more hopeful than anything that he'd get into the Martin Pipe. And he was hoping that there'd be no rain. Now the rain's come, and that means Nappers Hill, that was as short as 4-1 and 7-2, is out to 6.2 on the exchange now. So over 5-1 Nappers Hill. Real negative. Just watched them there. The first race in Sandown, they seem to be finishing very tired indeed. So that ground could be gone soft or even maybe heavy. But Arjet is 7.496. Thunder Rock, Dubrovnik, Harry, my fancy in the race, 11.5. PJB is 13, 16.5, King of the West. Kate, I'm going to back Dubrovnik, Harry, 11.5. Happy to be a price taker. I'm just going to have 25 quid on Dubrovnik, Harry. He was second to Anglers Craig in Leicester. He was at 3's on chance that day. He was given £6 to the winner. Jet Plane was 4 lengths back in third. He doesn't settle sometimes, which is a bit of a concern. In the Exeter Maiden that he won the time before that, he won by 25 lengths. If this is a really fast run race on heavy ground, I think he'll be there or thereabouts. But again, he needs to learn to settle. No better man, Sean Bone, great jockey. And the grounds come for him as well, I think, considerably come for him in that they had that bit of rain. I think they had about 7 mils and it's come up soft. So if they can settle Dubrovnik, Harry, expect to see him come late maybe, but 11.5 I think is a decent price. Right,
marvellous to hear that, Barry, because I'm going to follow you in on that one. But before I do, let's get some social. Who's opening the show on this Saturday? Pre-Cheltenham, Paul Bakewell, one of our regulars, says, really fancy Thunder Rock to go close. Okay, this is obviously in the 150. The London Huddle winner beat that easily earlier in the season. Okay, Thunder Rock. This is a biblical trends race, this, if you follow historical ticks in races, and the excellent Kevin Morley does them in our paper every Saturday. This is one of the ones where you see 10 out of 10s. He obviously does the last 10 years. 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10. Thunder Rock falls down on, usually, the winner of this hasn't run in a handicap before. He's pretty exposed, Kate, isn't he?
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons I was siding against him, because I did run the trends myself then for this race. And as you say, it was just fascinating how many hits you could get really for this. And that does make it pretty concerning then for Thunder Rock, the fact that he is pretty exposed, rather than my selection in here, who has just actually had a few nibbles, who's now into 16-1, Jerash each way, because ideally for this race, I want a 5-year-old rated as close to 130 as possible. 3 runs to their name this season, either won or placed last time out, 3 to 5 weeks since that latest start, and a hold-up performer, as Barry has just mentioned then. And so Jerash, he did make all last time out, but that was only a 3-runner contest. He was a 1 to 5 favourite. He was not impressive in the slightest. I basically thought his stablemate could have beaten him, essentially, but I don't think that was entirely the plan then. So Jerash did win that, but I think it may have been a blessing in disguise because his mark has been unchanged, therefore, as he makes his handicap debut here off of 130. So unexposed profile, he's much better than he showed last time out as well, and I think he's a fair price now at 16 to 1 for Jerash each way.
All right, great stuff. Jerash and Gary Moore, and Gary Moore says in the paper this morning, any rain will be to his benefit. As Barry said, it's come at Sandown. I just showed you the replay, didn't I? The first, so it's cutting up a little bit. Yeah. Milton Harris won it. Yeah. Some season he's having Milton, isn't he? Mitchell Bastian. Yeah, incredible. The horses just seem to be, like, he started off brilliantly, but they've just held their form the whole way through. And I just, like, it's kind of very noticeable. He bought a lot of juveniles this year, and he's done very well in that sphere, you know, and with that, he's starting to get a few more owners and a few. Did you sell any? No, I've never had much to do with Milton. No, I've seen him at the sales a few times, but I think he likes to do his own work. Well, you're coming on Racing Post Live now. They're going to be flocking at the door. If you didn't know that Jerry does have a bloodstock business, and of course now works for Goff, so we'll be getting into him with that a little bit later on. Did you ever ride in this race? You must have done, mustn't you? Yeah, I was going to say it's even like Nicky Henderson's actually only got the one representative this year, but it's one of those races we've often had 3 or 4 runners in it, and I just do think it's one of those races. It is trainers need to kind of target it. You know, it's not, you don't just kind of decide to run there, 5 days at declaration days. You need to be kind of planning out beforehand. And I just find it interesting, like back to Thunder Rock, I fancy this horse. And I know, I can see your point of view that he's had a few runs in handicaps. But I think that's going to stand to him, just the experience of because it can be a rough race. That's the one thing. And they're only novices. And it's one of those races, it's not so much now today, but like it's one of those races, a lot of claimers usually ride in this race to take off top weights and stuff like that. And it can be very messy. And it's one of those, leaving the back straight at Sandown, a lot of lads can kind of go deaf on you when you're looking for a bit of room and stuff like that. Yeah, it does seem that way when you're turning in. It gets a bit... Yeah, like when you jump 3 out. A lot of chat. Yeah, exactly. So I just think he has that bit of handicap experience. I think it'll stand him in good stead. I do think the handicapper was harsh on him the last day, put him up £6 for winning at Huntington. Yeah. He only won by a length and a quarter, a length and a half or something. He got £6 for, which I thought was harsh enough. But I just think McNeil's, I think they could have a good week next week at Cheltenham, and I think they might have a good start to the week today, hopefully. Quick line on Surrey Quest and Nathan Brennan as well. Yeah, like I said, he schooled him during the week with the intention of riding him because obviously he's got nearly top weight, so they wanted to take kind of £7 off him. And he's actually won on the horse before as well. This horse, like he was in Cheltenham, he was in a few of the handicaps, he was actually in the Ballymore up until the 5-day stage, and we were kind of toying with that. But he realistically he wasn't going to win a Grade 1, so he's better off going here today for a big pot. Yeah. And that's the Hendo way, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. We've got enough other horses running next week to let this fella take his chance here. Yeah, and we can't wait to get stuck into exactly what Jerry might think about them. So get your questions in for Jerry, Kate, Barry, and myself as well. We'll give you a shout out, but they are lining up. 3 minutes to go. Barry, who's hot? 7.8 hour Jet seems to be quite popular. King of the West, still 16, completely unknown at 15. Lorcan Williams Mount, that's a horse that's been attracting some support as well. Another Paul Nichols runner, interestingly, but your favourite still Nappers Hill at 6.0. Okay, great stuff. Thank you, Barry. And no horse has won in the last 10 years above a mark of 132, 135 for Nappers Hill. You're probably right about Paul. He was sweating on the run, wasn't he? But let's get the social up. Tom Mitchell, comes back on and says, I couldn't beat my nose. And I'm back to jet plane each way. So that's one to avoid at least. That was put up by someone, wasn't it? I can't remember who put that up. Was it one of our tipsters put it up? I can't remember who it was. For the Skeletons, of course, Tristan Durrell, who they've also got our jet as well. So they're trying to come in, aren't they? And some sort of aerial assault on this race. But okay, Complete Unknown is another one for Paul Nichols. Like him as well. I don't think we've seen the best of him so far. And good luck wherever you're playing then. At Sandown we are. Slow by 28 seconds the first race. Always a bit slower on the hurdles course there, isn't it? Yeah, definitely. And like I said, I think they have had the rain over the last couple of days as well. When do you go from fifth gear to no gear at Sandown on that ground? Is it coming to the second last? Are you like, I've got a... Yeah, and it's one of those, if you miss 2 out, you can literally stop to a walk. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because you're uphill, you're in deep ground. The hurdles look very big when you're coming up the hill the second time, But like I said, they're still on novice as well, and that's the other thing I meant to say too. There's always a lot of pace in this race, So they might just go a bit hard up front, and I just see a few of the senior jockeys, Harry Skelton, lining up out the back. It might just suit horses like that to just take your time today. Yeah, it's always a giveaway, isn't it? Obviously, we now know the race positions, basically. So you do tend to see them getting chopped up a bit on the inside, don't you, at Sandown? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's one of those,
you don't want to be giving too much ground away going wide, but at the same time, you'd rather give away a bit of ground going wide and getting a clear run than being down the inner and getting in a bit of trouble, especially if you're not travelling. You know, like any track, you know, especially Sandown, if you're not travelling, it's not a very nice place to be.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Nicky's record in this race, actually. It's
Probably good, I'd say.
Probably not the greatest, actually.
Isn't
This is embryo chasers, we call it, this race. That's
Right.
basically what they usually are. I'm going to get it up.
See, I use this for my next season Open Company handicap hurdles, your third wins
Yes.
and such, like your Potemps horses then in the making. This is, when people ask me for a horse to follow for the following season, my first port of call is always to look at the EBF.
EBF, yeah, because you, of course, have to run in the qualifiers, don't you? That's why I like a Dubrovnik Harry like Barry. He just had to get him qualified last time. Yes, he was turned over at 3s on, but he's going to settle a lot better in this. And Harry Fryer's won this, of course, with just one, representative, thrice race winner. That was a Millennium Awards in 2017. Nicky Anderson's record, 19 runners in the past decade for one winner. Can you remember what it was? Close touch for Her Majesty.
For the Queen.
Remember him?
But I suppose 19 runners, but they might have, like I said, he might have had 3 or 4 in each race. So
And 3 places, Jerry. It's a terrible record.
3 places, okay.
You really are a company
corner.
man,
Yeah,
Jerry.
just
Yeah.
eating you stats.
brand.
Is just,
Yeah.
I can't
Oh, I've
get
got
away
them
from
all.
me.
Yeah, go on, Barry.
Barry Garrity. He won it in 2011 with Skint and Barry Garrity.
See,
All
thank
right,
you, Barry.
okay. Oh, look.
See, proper
He's-
researcher
yeah,
here.
okay,
This
someone's
man.
got Wiki up or something, and then gone further than
Oh,
my
it's just a
tenure.
name, Skint. I thought it was a great name for a horse.
Yeah.
Do you remember him? I remember Skint as well. What colours was he in?
Purple
Skint?
and yellow. Paul Murphy used to own him.
Yeah.
Yeah, purple and yellow colours, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, Close Touch was a nice horse, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. He probably didn't fulfil the potential we thought he had. He was actually a quirky horse. But yeah, like I said, at least he won the EBF final.
We could get inside Jerry's brain this afternoon. Couldn't we? Worrying things
dangerous.
with Jerry.
You
we could
definitely
reminisce
don't
about
want-
sprinter.
You definitely don't want to go there, Dave.
Well,
That's all I
Simon
know.
Sigg was really the one you. Yeah, no, all right. Simon Sigg was the one that we really associated with you.
Yeah, he was an incredible horse. Yeah, incredible horse.
Oh,
Very
great memories then. Great to have Jerry with us along with Kate and Barry. But we are off then for the 150 and try and get my colours and try and pinpoint exactly where you are. But what sort of pace are we going then? Let's have a look at the clock. First 30 mile an hour reference of the day. And complete unknown is that there. Mucho Mas. Ben Pauling likes his horses to get on with it, don't they? And now who's that I can see leading Kate Tracey on the inside?
Setting speedy fractions up front there, Standard.
That's it, running himself into the ground.
Yeah, well done.
What do we know about Arizona Cardinal under
Yeah,
Kieron?
oh, he's a lovely horse. He really is. I mean, everything, it says in the Racing Post comments that everything clicked for him last time out. It really did. Kieron unfortunately didn't ride him. He had to go down to Exeter to ride Classic Ben, I think it was that day, who finished second in the Devon National. So Sam rode him last time out, and Warwick, front runner bias.
Yeah.
And everything came for him. He's just had a few sort of little strange issues where along the way where Kieron just hasn't been happy with him in a few of his races, but he said himself last time, he's like, I think that horse is going to go well today. And he sort of sat there watching it and watched him win. But luckily, fortunately, the owner and Stuart allowed Kieron back on him then. So, but
He's trying to make all here.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a brave man's route, isn't it, as they call it? The well-fancied PJB with James Bowen on tracks him. So does Nappers Hill as well. Thunder Rock, many of you out there fancying that. Surrey Quest is up there for Nicky Anderson as well. Complete unknown, as I said earlier. What's this on the outside? George's Saint for Venetia. Charlie Deutsch, what a season it's been for the team. How's he going up and over? Absolutely fine. Looking for some of the big players out the back. Our Jet, very well backed overnight, wasn't he, for Team Skelton? Watches out the rear, along with Mumbo Jumbo, Tom Bellamy. Another season of great repute so far for Tom. Emma Lavelle, this bloke hasn't really shown his best so far. Blaster first, he'll be trying to come. Whereas some of the other Marble Sands there. Gerash wasn't great there, Kate, from my eyes.
I'm at least happy that he's being ridden further back than I was fearful of because of Fontwell last time out where he did make all but 3 runners. He's reverted back to previous tactics of those, well, slightly more hold-up tactics therefore. But like I say, that was just a bit of a scrappy leap then.
Yeah.
But at least I'm happy where he is positional-wise.
There are some big players in good positions. Barry, as we go out onto the far side, what's the market saying?
Yeah, Arizona Cardinal is still trading at his Betfair SP at 38, Jer. Outside of that, we have Nappers Hill 5.8, Arjet 6.8. They're your favourites. Dubrovnik Harry's come in for a bit of support, is into 9.4, along with PJB. So they're all seem to be travelling well in themselves. There's nothing really struggling at this stage.
If you had to get on one now, Jerry McGrath.
I'd be very happy with James Bowen's position there, just behind the leaders. I think Kieran Getton was getting a lovely, not soft lead early, but I think just Charlie Deutsch come and join him and just down
Would
the hill.
that annoy you now?
Well, especially just down the hill away from the stand where you run
Yeah.
downhill, horses naturally go a bit quicker, and then you just get taken on. Like you just waste.
It's the worst thing if you won one to lead, isn't
and
it?
you just waste a bit of energy. He was kind of getting a soft time, but then they just started to quicken it already down the back.
Yeah, and they have done, absolutely. Let's see a stride then, and he does, Arizona Cardinal. And all of a sudden, they take 4 or 5 lengths out of the field. Nappers Hill, pole position at the moment under Cobby. And he's just looking at him at the moment. He's a little bit novice in the Betfair Hurdle, wasn't he? But obviously, this is a step down, and he does want this trip. We think Thunder Rock going very well, nicely behind him as well. PJB's there. Looking for our jet. When's Harry Skelton going to make a move? What do we reckon, Kate?
Oh, I mean, where would you be making the move then for Harry Skelton at this point from that position? Because you want to really be, well, the testing conditions held up for as long as possible, I guess, but tricky.
Yeah, and definitely, especially once we jump this,
this is 3 out, isn't it?
Yeah, 3 out. Yeah, like I said, it can get messy from the back of 3 out into the bend, and especially if a few horses start coming off the bridle and start coming back towards you.
Triple trade catching my eye as well for the Tizzards in the orange and the red and the yellow. Looking for complete unknown on the outside, looking a bit keen there, isn't he? Are they going to fall in a hole? That is the big question. And look at this. Look at Harry Skelton on the inside. I tell you what. I wonder what on earth the Exchange saying about him. Still well fancied, isn't he? He's got a lot of horses to go through. Jerash getting the hurry up then at the moment.
Yeah, that's not ideal really. He has just been on and off the bridle throughout. I've been tracking him then. He's made a few sort of silly little mistakes really, but now he's back on the bridle again. But Jerry called that spot on there around this bend. They've just really bunched up again then, haven't they, on the front end? They've come back to them, but still sitting pretty, and then they're really bunching up. So of those in behind, you're going to have to find a decent passage to get through now. But yeah, starting to quicken it up again.
Yeah, they are, absolutely. All right, have the front runners done too much as we come up the famous climb at Sandown? Now they're starting to come bereft of ribs. Look at Tom Bellamy. Look at this under Mumbo Jumbo. How much has he got left? Surrey Quest fighting a bit off. Dubrovnik Harry not done with. Our jet, I don't know what happened there, but he's gone from 0 to 0 very quickly. Nappers Hill out like a light. Paul will be regretting running him here. What's this at stake? Is this complete unknown? This is complete unknown. This is the supposed second string. He couldn't win around Ascot. This is the kind of horse you want for this race. He's going to be some chase for the future. And he's walked through the last one in front. Marble Sands is coming. Top dog, as he left it a bit too late. Mumbo Jumbo looks that way. Here we go, Marble Sands. Paddy Brennan is in pursuit, but it will go to Paul Nicholls and Cheltenham Festival winning jockey Lorcan Williams. It was an injection of pace coming to the last. What's this guy been doing around Ascot when he's been well fancied? He's loved the ground, hasn't he, as Paul said he would in the paper this morning. And really, Barry Orr, oh, look at that. Lorcan Williams giving it some of that. It's what we like to see, Barry.
Yeah, 14.7, a Betfair SP of 14.7. Paul did say in his piece that he'd come over from Ireland with good bumper form. He stayed on strongly at Ascot in the soft ground, and he's always thought he was an ideal type for this race. So, I'm sure they're going to be a little bit disappointed they ran Nappers Hill. I'm sure if he had it just sat tight, he might have got into the Martin Pipe on better ground, but the ground did go for the horse. Dubrovnik Harry's ran well. He got into all sorts of traffic problems jumping to second last, and he's ran on well to finish third. But no massive in-running news, Dave, to be perfectly honest with you. A load of them traded relatively short. The likes of Thunder Rock traded at a low of 5.9. Dubrovnik Harry traded at a low of 4.3. Marble Sands traded at a low of 4.1, would you believe? PJB, a low of 6.8. I could go on and on because they all travelled so well in the straight.
It was a weird race, that, Jerry, wasn't it? And again, I said to you, when do you go from thinking you've got the glory, like Lorcan Williams did, to absolutely nothing? Our jet found nothing. But
But I just thought it was interesting what Dave said there, like that you said that, when he spoke to Paul Nicholls that he thought this race would suit him. It just goes to show you have to, train a horse for this race. You can't second guess and kind of decide to go there the last minute. You have to plan a horse out for it and, make sure you're off a nice mark as well. There's no point winning 3 or 4 races in the lead up to it and having...
He looked like a brute as well, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly. And he's probably valued for a bit more because, like I said to you earlier, to make a mistake like that at the last and, it didn't even knock too much momentum and, he still kept going forward and he's won cosily to death.
He was one of 3 that sat. If you read Kevin Morley's trends in the paper today, he was one of the 3. Our jet was the other one. Dubrovnik Harry. Of course, I plumped there.
Did he sit out the back?
Was the other one.
Where did he sit? I didn't actually follow the horse through the winner.
Where did he sit? He was sort of on the outside. He was 5th, wasn't he, on the outside?
Yeah, I didn't even.
Whether that's going to be a route we take or not, I don't know. But gives you a taster for the Imperial Cup to come, doesn't it? Next race, of course, from Sandown. We're going to pop to Wolverhampton shortly. You had the Jerash line, right, didn't you? Because, of course, he was 2 lengths behind him.
That's frustrating, yeah. But Jerash beat him last time out, but Jerash just didn't travel through that on the inside line throughout. He just made a few sort of silly little novice errors there throughout, and he kept coming back on the bridle. Yeah, like I say, right form line, wrong horse.
Well, there we go. So we're naught from. Oh no, I'm naught from 2.
Yeah,
Me and Barry are. You've had a winner, Kate, as well.
Yeah, to be fair.
We get a bit
Kids and my
competitive on this show, don't we? But yeah, again, the pressure's off. Our head of video and social, Nick Rostron Pike, has just messaged me in. Jerry, very good. There you go. So all the pressure's off. Look.
Yeah, fair
we're
play,
building up the questions though, so you can still get it wrong. You have said that John Bond was a lunatic, of course. So
Yeah,
that
well,
is out
You're
there
going
now.
to keep reiterating.
Lunatic tendencies.
You
right?
need
We'll
to
go with that
get
one.
used to
We all.
live television, Jerry. Let me tell you. Barry, it'll be interesting to see in your natter with Nichols. I assume you're going to do that on Monday morning. What do you think's of that chap?
Yeah, really will. We'll definitely be doing it on Monday morning, hopefully, yeah. But he, like I said, he kind of laid him out for that after his run last day. He said it was important to keep him fresh and to arrive there a fresh horse, and any rain that would fall would really be in his favour. So the ground's come up soft for him, and he's duly obliged.
And looked like a different animal, didn't he? So, I don't know. Yeah, again, all the trends that chap hit, and we might just have seen a very good chase for the future. He beat a horse called Deploy the Getaway in his Irish Bumper. So, once again, a Cheltenham line being boosted, and Paul Keeley, I think, has put that up maybe for the final race of the week, I think. There's a few getaways out there, aren't there? But I think that's the right one.
Which one of them?
We've got to go to Wolverhampton. We've got to go to Wolverhampton for the next race. What is it? It's, of course, 2:05. Is it the Lincoln Trial? That we're going to get up next. Shall we see what Barry Orr likes?
Mansion Bet Lincoln Trial. Yeah, your favourite lad, Hafed Alain is 5.6, 4.8 Lat Diati. Balmadero is 8.4, 9.8 Bless Him. Notre Belle is 9, and it's 14 bar. I'm laying Hafed Alain. We're going to take 25 quid of the backer stake out of that one, please, Kate. So over to the pink side where it says lay.
Unfortunately, the internet's gone. So I'd love to do that, Barry. I
Do you
really
want to put the bet on for us, Barry?
Trying to,
While we
but,
put 50p in the meter again for Kate.
But yeah, unfortunately, the internet's gone.
Okay, well, it's 5.7. I'm taking 25 of the backer stake for a liability of 117. I just think this is a hold-up horse. There's plenty of pace up front here today, and could meet a lot of traffic problems. Drawn 7, has a tendency a couple of times, I think, to just be a little bit slowly away. And, you know, on a line through, a couple of these could struggle. Even Fox Power is, I think, weighted to beat it. So, yeah, I'm going to take her on, or take Hafed Alain on at 5.6.
Well, the first head-to-head of the show is here, because I like this chap, Barry. I do. I thought he was a certainty to win 2 back. It was a Mickey Mouse race. And then, of course, you forget he's running next time and he goes and wins. Ed Walker, Richard Kingscote are a decent operation for me, and I thought he was one of the more likely winners of this. We should say this is a Lincoln Trial in all but name. It hasn't really had a bearing on the race for quite some time. Some of them are in it. The likes of Notre Belle Bette, or Bet, however we're going to say that, for King Power, who won on its debut for Andrew Baldwin last night, are in the race, and there has been a bit of money anti-post for that, but she's going to need a penalty to get in without question. We've got some right old friends here. So a head-to-head from me and Barry. Barry's taking on the second fav. I'm all over it. Richard Kingscote, Ed Walker, and I'm hoping there's more to come. Jerry, Clive Cox has a runner in this.
Yeah, and that's when I've sided with. I'm not saying he's going to win, but I think at 12, 14
There's
to
a
1.
trend developing here.
What's
You didn't
that?
tip a Hendo horse in the first race,
Right.
But you are very much a company man. And just in case Clive is watching and the owners,
Yeah, well, to be fair, Dan's Fever, he's one of those, speaking of lunatics, he's not far off one at home anyway. He is very, very keen going. He's very fresh. He likes to get on with it every morning. And that's why I just think the last day, he probably just would have needed the run. He was very keen, very fresh. So I just think with a run under his belt, I think he's going to play a big hand today.
okay, Dance Fever. Yeah, he's the sort of horse, isn't he? You could see in a Victoria Cup, you wouldn't even blink if he was in a Hunt Cup, would you?
Yeah,
Well,
like
that's
he's a proper Saturday handicapper. And I know, like you said, it's competitive today, but I'm not saying he's going to win the Lincoln, but I'd like to think he's going to go close in the Lincoln.
So he's come
trial.
on for that spin. I say spin. You've got to be careful when you say spin, because of course it was a very good race at Southwell, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
exactly. And he was so fresh that day. He was doing too much the whole way, and I just think with that under his belt, I think he'll kind of show a better hand today.
I thought you might be taking on the Fav, Barry, because stall 12 for La Tihati, he must hate grass, basically, that horse. I thought they'd be worried about his mark. He's gone up in the weights, and he's Safi Osborne, very good claimer, but a claimer on stall 12, stinky one for me.
Yeah, yeah. Like you said it in the first race, you don't want to be out wide in Wolverhampton. It's a very difficult place to be. It's interesting from a pace angle here. You're going to have a couple go forward. Baldomero will go forward. You've also got Scottish Summit who will go forward. Fox Power, whatever leads him, will be going some clip. So there's a lot of pace on up front. It could set it up for a finisher, but they're going to meet traffic problems if they're coming from behind.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so this is good, isn't it? We're looking forward to this. It's giving us a taste of what's to come for the year ahead. Loads of people it's a strange one, isn't it? The timing of this. Everyone's like jumps. But a lot of people, maybe Cheltenham's not your bag, and the all-weather out there. This is a big step in the right direction. The first winner, of course, for Mick Appleby, Whittle of Woods. He's going to now be aimed. By the way, I'm getting the quotes in as we go. So I could break. He will go to Newcastle now. It is, of course, the all-weather championship final day. Wonder what will be joining him. Baldomero, Jason Watson takes over. He's in stall 1 as well. What did Kate Tracey like in this?
Kate Tracey likes the fact that to manage to get some internet back there. First and foremost, just call me the IT tech of the studio.
Is there anything you can't do, Kate?
Oh, well, plenty, trust me.
I bet you can tap dance.
I'll give it a good go.
I bet you can.
Yeah, maybe after a few Lady Guinnesses I'd give it a good go, but that's probably about it, really. Lati Harty for me here.
The Fav.
I am with the Fav to defy stall 12, which, as you say, isn't ideal. But really, I think that's the only stone I can probably throw at this horse. I just love that this horse just has this winning thread. He's only been beaten once in his 5 career starts. That was on debut, and he was second to the really smart Darwell Lion as well. Yeah. And he's just shown rapid progression ever since then. And he's just really improved his form since going into handicaps the last twice. First one was on the back of a year-long absence, so that was super likeable. And again, then last month, winning by over 2 lengths. So he has been given the £9 rise and fall there, but I thought that he was a really convincing winner of that Class 2 handicap. Safi Osborne, as you say, gets the leg up. She's now returned from Bahrain. She's already had a winner back in this country as well. I think it was on her first day back as well. So, as I say, the draw isn't ideal, but he's talented, he's thriving, and I think this looks an optimal bit of placing for all that the draw isn't ideal.
Well, it is fascinating because the down one in France, again, got to switch to the flat, haven't we now, all of a sudden? I'm looking at pedigrees and all that sort of stuff, but the down one in France, he's got a grass pedigree, but yet he's had 5 starts, all on the all-weather. He's been around since 2020, and yet he doesn't, for whatever reason, maybe he physically needs to run on synthetics, I don't know. But the top 3 in the market, they're all last time out winners. This is a proper all-weather handicap coming your way. We've spoken, Barry, a couple of minutes to go. What's the market saying? Lati Harty, get it right, Dave Orton. Lati Harty. Is there any way that he could be usurped as Fab at all?
No, I don't think so. Bless him, come in for a bit of support. But the big mover probably Notre Belle bet 6.4 now for David Probert. Haven't been as high as 12.5. So almost halved in price, that one. The King Power colours.
Yeah, great stuff. Yeah, again, she was highly regarded, I think, in Ireland once. She never quite got there, but she's gone to the Boarding Academy, does so well, doesn't he? Safi Osborne's a great claim as well, isn't she? 5, I think.
Yeah, definitely. But I just find it interesting the fact they're using Safi because they need to take 5 off.
Yeah,
correct.
So,
that's how I read it.
And like I said, I know the £9 rise, but they're trying to offset 5 of it straight away, and they're a good operation. They know when they need to claim, and I just think they think they need a bit of help. And drawn 12, it's very hard around Wolverhampton.
I'm looking at Clive's form. I mean, he's had 4 runners. They've all pretty much run to form. Regal Envoy just touched off yesterday for him, of course, at Wolverhampton. Horses are going well. He's got some big runners coming up this year as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, definitely. I know it's early in the season, but I know they've got a nice bunch of 2-year-olds this year. I suppose every flat trainer, they're all champions at this stage of the year. But yeah, there's a few sharp ones there.
See if we can get some names out of Jerry for the end of the show, shall we? You've probably been sitting on most of them. All right, great stuff. Dance Fever is the last to go in. Can Jerry make it 2 from 2 on the all-weather? He'll be insufferable, won't he, as a debutant, if he does. Good luck wherever you're playing. And this is the Lincoln Trial. It's 2:05, and unsurprisingly, a little bit slow out of the gates, but bless him. And Jamie Spencer, guess what? Seeing them all in. My Halfleet Elaine, Barry's taking him on. He's out the back as well. Now let's look for Lati Harty. What's Safi Osborne done? She's had to take her medicine, hasn't she? Notre Belle bet, of course. David Probert wasn't much better off, stall 11, but he has got a nice sit. Once again, the horse watchers in Appleby, we have seen the draws come out on Thursday, they'll be laughing because Baldomero's got a beautiful sit off the front running Mykonos St John for Scott Dixon and Jack Dern at the moment. They're going pretty quick. Barry on the far side, any spikes because of what the Fav's done?
No, not really. Bombardero's your big mover into 5.5 now. Had a Betfair SP of 9.7. 7.8, bless him. but all to play for still.
Yeah, fair enough. It looks like they've gone pretty quick. It can be a bit deceiving on the all-weather. And all of a sudden, Jack Dern on this front runner, sensing he might have gone a bit quick because he's pulling the anchor, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. And there's a lot of horses stuck kind of 3-4 wide, which is not ideal for sure. But like you said, the horses behind, they haven't chased the leader, have they?
No, Starry Eyes has got a nice posse for Cam Hardy, drawn in 4. What about Dance Fever as they start to rev up?
Oh, I'm in trouble. I'm
out
the back.
Oh, there'll be no 2 from 2, says Jerry Day.
No.
I don't know, you're right at the back. If Jamie Spencer's there, have they stolen a march? Baldemero, Jason Watson eyeballs the leader and takes it up. And they have been caught on the hop a little bit. Where are the rest? This is ridiculous, isn't it? They've let this one go.
Yeah.
There's going to be 2 from 2 on the other way for someone. It's the horse watchers, surely, and Mick Appleby. Notre Belle Bet is coming, but it's too late. Hang on a minute. We're not going to fall in a hole, are we? Oh, here we go. Baldemero's tying up. Could David Probo turn it right? Surely not. No, Jason Watson's just stolen a mark. Oh, no! There's a gubbing! Wow! Okay, looks like Notre Belle Bet has actually got there. David Probo has somehow pulled it out. Look at them going past together.
I think that was a Tomo moment. You should have gone photo.
Listen, no Tomo in here. I've learnt my lesson on that one. They call me Alan Partridge as it is. I don't need Tomo. Barry, let's come to you. Did we see some carnage?
Yeah, well, only 10's on. 1.10 for 104 quid. Baldemero come and get chinned by the... was Fox Power, was it? Or was it Notre Belle?
Notre Belle.
They've landed a gamble.
Notre Belle Bear, the horse that sprang in the race, traded at a high in running of 2 quid at 80, would you believe? 20 quid at 65, but 2 quid at 80 on the winner in running.
Yeah, well, there you go then. Who got involved? Oh, my God, if you're on Baldemero, they must have thought they had the money there. And Jason Watson turned around to him straight after the pull-out. Oi, Probert, where did you come from?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's important, like David Probert, Andrew Baldwin going forward for the season ahead. With Oisin Murphy suspended, David Probert, he's going to have a massive opportunity with Kingsclear. And, I think they have an exciting summer ahead,
Yeah, well, she's in the Lincoln. I seem to remember when she was in Ireland in these colours, they tried really hard with her and she couldn't even win a maiden. One of those horses that you think is a shoo-in for a maiden, just can't get over the line. There were some really disappointments in there. I mean, Dance Fever just never really got into it.
No. Like I said, he was slow away as well, and you knew your fate a long way out.
Yeah, so, like I did with Halflate Elaine. Well done, Barry. You got that right.
That was beaten out of stalls. Really.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of them were.
Yeah. And Jamie Spencer won again, once again flashing home late in the day. But before you start throwing tomatoes at the telly, if you backed him, bless him, he's very, very hard horse to get right. He has to be rid from off the pace. But one of those strange all-weather races where they went hard, comfort zones. Fav beaten out of sight as well.
Yeah, but Dave Probe, look at White, he's done very well, hasn't he?
All 11, yeah.
Slot in from where he was.
A lot's being said about Dave Probe, but in the last week again. Here we are talking about flat jockeys and stuff, but he's very cleverly stuck to the all-weather when he probably could have gone to the likes of Dubai, maybe Riyadh and all that sort of stuff. Of course, he does go over there, but he very rarely makes a mistake, does he? And some people, this is a year, of course, where we're going to see a new champion jockey. Some people are punting him out. He had a fantastic year last year, and that was... Well, he got it right there, didn't he? Probably got a bit lucky as well. All right, we've got one more to come from Wolverhampton, where King Power, courtesy of Happy Power, will be going for a big Saturday double. Are you on him? Let us know. But we must move back on because we near the Imperial Cup. There's the Betfair SP, the Notre Bet Bell, and along comes, as if by magic, the exchange market. Before we go and have a look at this little race, have we got these socials up on the screen? Because we've got a bit of time to talk, haven't we? And see if we can get some Cheltenham chat. Oh, okay, all right. I thought we had one built, but we don't. We'll get to that in a minute. Actually, Will, you are there in my ear in the studio. Are we going to put the social up that we had? Yes, there it is. Peter Sullivan says, now, your popularity knows no bounds, Jerry. I promise you this would happen. Jerry, I am Maximus, 3 question marks. Ballymore or Coral Cup off 134. Any idea, please? This is, of course, the chap that bumped into the massive Hillcrest last time at Cheltenham.
Yeah, and I suppose, we really fancied him that day. We thought that was his day to win a Grade 2. And, with hindsight, I think he lost nothing in defeat that day. Hillcrest, he could be a Gold Cup horse in the future, I think it was very unfortunate. He got outstayed on the day on very soft ground at Cheltenham. But on the flip side of it, at least he showed he coped with the track, and of course experience is a big thing to have going around Cheltenham as a novice. But at the moment, I think he might lean towards the Coral Cup. 134, he'd be, if he lined up in a Grade 1, he'd be well down the betting, whereas in a competitive handicap in the Coral Cup, that's the plan at the moment. That might change. We'll decide when declaration come to declaration times and stuff like that. But
Yeah, okay, maybe Barry could look on the sportsbook for us, Barry. Could you? So many horses that we talk about for the Coral Cup and the Ballymore, but he wasn't the biggest price in the world for the Ballymore, I don't think. And if you think he's our fancy for that, off 134, you'd be open to getting to a Coral Cup, wouldn't you, Barry?
Yeah, I suppose you would. I don't. He's a 14-1 chance in our Ballymore betting, but that's non-runner money back, obviously. So on the exchange, he's considerably bigger than that.
If you've got a 14-1 shot for the Ballymore, you want to be going pretty close in the Coral Cup, don't you? He's an interesting horse, isn't he?
Yeah.
What's he like as a horse? That's how I'm really. Yeah.
He looks a bit slow.
A bit on the lunatic side.
Well, you love this lunatic. You're trying to get me
Hey,
to say
I
more
didn't use
things
the
there,
word
aren't you?
lunatic. I'm just,
Every entered horse we've mentioned so
what's
far is a loony.
You've ridden a few of these in your time.
Yeah.
To be fair, no, he's a very straightforward horse. Like, I know at Exeter on debut, he was very, very green in front that day, and he had to make his own running. It was a bit of a, just things didn't happen on the day. He came out and won.
He wasn't
the next
fancied
day.
that day, was he? Despite the fact he was 11 to 10. I know he wasn't fancied.
What do you mean he wasn't?
JPR1 was the winner of the race.
Oh yeah,
he was a
yeah,
big drifter.
true, and he has been a good,
good
horse
horse.
since,
Yeah,
And
but he beat my Drogo, of course. That's why everyone latched onto him in his bumper.
Yeah.
So, look.
But what people forget though, my Drogo was like 50-1 that day.
Yeah.
It's incredible, isn't it? He was 50-1 in bumper,
At
and
Cheltenham.
he went on to win a Grade 1. It was incredible.
That was October 2020, that opening meeting. But he's an interesting horse because he went to Newbury, beat Raymond Tusk, who we haven't seen the best of yet, I've heard, Franklin King. Also was running Group 1s in his bomb. Beat him well.
Yeah, they pulled
Still
clear,
looking
didn't
green, didn't he?
Yeah, definitely. And he is a bit of a project the whole time. He's learning on the job. He went to Kempton 10 days ago, well, probably 2 weeks ago now on Tuesday, for a gallop, and he galloped very, very well. He schooled during the week. And he's an exciting horse, but he's just... he's probably stuck between a rock and a hard place. 134. He still needs to get into the Coral if we decide to go that way.
41 he is.
Yeah, so
you'd be hopeful of a run, I think.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, get in, Barry.
You
Yeah,
should get in.
Yeah, he get in. I'd say he's a shade of odds on to go to Coral Cup.
Yeah, like last night now at the Cheltenham preview, Barry Geraghty, this is the one horse Barry tipped for one of the handicaps. He's been kind of keeping a close eye on this horse, and he tipped him up for the Coral Cup, and I couldn't disagree with him, He definitely goes there with a good chance.
Do you think his sort of any inexperience would come to light in the Coral, or do you think he's kind of there now as a horse?
Yeah, I think the fact he's had a run around Cheltenham was really stand to him. If he hadn't been to Cheltenham before, I know he got beat, but he did bump into Hillcrest. I think the fact he's been around there, he didn't actually jump the greatest that day. He's done a load of work since, loads of schooling, things like that. So, I don't think so. Like I said, he's got enough runs under his belt. He did a couple of bumper runs. Henrietta Knight, who kind of manages the horses' owners, the owners' horses even. She does an awful lot of schooling.
Bit of both,
with them.
I
I was going to say probably across
Yeah, so there's loads of schooling there and everything like that. So his ocean's done. Like I said, I think he's got a great chance if he gets in. And like Barry said, he should sneak in.
All right, okay. That was the word, Peter, for you out there. Isn't it great to have Joey with us this afternoon? Isn't it great to have the Imperial Cup upcoming? $2.25. No bonus on offer this year, Barry, but they've put it into the prize money. And we've got a whopping field.
Yeah, it's a cracking lineup, a very competitive race. 6 places to each way punters on the Betfair Sportsbook. Blanco Coastal, your favourite at the moment at 6.2. Real negative. Was 5-2 when we first went up to the race. It's doubled in price. He's out over 5-1 now. Lucky One 9.8. That's been a bit of a springer in the market. History Bear is 11.5 current mood. Offer Parole, another one attracting support, was 25 and 33, is into 17.5. One More for the Road at 16 has attracted some support. I like Gabrici de Versailles, Johnny Burke's horse in the race. Now, he was beaten 13 lengths by First Street in Kempton. He was a bit keen that day. He looked like a horse that was just getting a good education because the time before that in his maiden, when he won his maiden, he beat Cabo Clips, who's rated 130 now in Huntington. I think there's still a bit of fat in his mark as well. He just squeezes in the bottom there. Johnny Burke doing 10-1. Kate, we're going to back him on the sportsbook because it's 6 places each way. I think that's great value, and we're going to have 25 quid each way on the sportsbook. Just taking advantage of those 6 places. It's too good an offer to miss, really.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very interesting horse, Barry. He's in the Talk is Cheap colours, isn't he? Who used to...
Malcolm Denmark, isn't he?
Yeah. Is it still Malcolm Denmark? I'm not sure. No, it's the Talk is Cheap colours.
Similar colours, aren't they?
Yeah, Charles Dingwall and Alan Giddy, very similar colours, Monsignor colours as we used to know them, and the Next Destination colours. Very similar colours. I'm sure that Talk is Cheap used to have these colours. He's interesting, Barry, because trend-wise, and Kevin Morley got it right with Complete Unknown on his shortlist, he had it down to 4, and Grabisi de Percy was on it. And if you look back on your Members Club now, as you can do in the replay, there's Stop the Clock 2 out at Kempton. And I think it was the soft ground. It's just whether the ground might have turned against him. But he is a very interesting horse under 10-1. And I've had a little bit on him as well, I'm sorry to say, Barry. I've got my headline horse is History Bear. For Tom Simmons and Alex Coleman. You're nodding, Kate.
I am, because I'm in total agreement about History Bear. Again, running my own version of the trends, then he ticks an awful lot of boxes. 5-year-old again, rated as close to 130 as possible. And on his reappearance, he was ridden with restraint even at Fumwell and before being ridden more prominently than last time out. So hopefully he reverts to holding him up again here, because again, on recent renewals, that's what it takes to win this race. He doesn't really have the ideal conditioning for this race that I'd really like to see. I'd like a few more runs to his name. Just had the 2 starts so far, but hitting the frame without winning on your latest start is actually a positive as well for this race. Had a good freshen up. That was a career best performance last time out. £2 rise to overcome. And that form is just working out brilliantly, as we know, with Cormier, who won it, going on to win the Moor Battle Hurdle. Severance, I thought, ran a solid race for an awful long way in that race before just fading out of things. And History Bear on the inside then as well. Probably wasn't the place to be at Cheltenham that day, as we know. So I think he could be marked up for that, if anything. I think that is just solid form to put to good use.
Yeah, there's the spotlight are also napping History Bear as well. We're in very good company. That's what you get on this show, as I often say. Free premium content. Who does it? Alistair Jones out there, one of our better judges. They tend to go in the big one. So History Bear, watch it back. He gets lost, doesn't he? Come down that hill.
Completely. He ends up last after the second last, doesn't he?
Cormier form's there to see. So you're right. Everything Kate says, I love it. Now, Balco Coastal, tell us about this chap, because this is another guy that comes from a Cheltenham defeat, isn't it? And he's in the Coral and the Martin Pike, but it looks like, this is the race for him, doesn't it? And I think, what else is he in?
He's in the county. He's in the county.
He's in the county, sorry, not the Coral. And you struggle to get in there maybe off 1-3-4. You'd be right down the bottom. So Nicky's rolling the dice here. Nice horse?
Yeah, lovely horse. You'd love to own him. And fair play to the owners. Obviously, it would have been very easy for him to turn around and say, oh, we want him to run at Cheltenham. But no, it's a 100 grand handicap today. It's a big pot. Sometimes it gets overlooked, and that's why I was very happy for everyone concerned that it's a full field. It's great to see, because sometimes, and we've seen in England and Britain this year, some of these handicaps haven't been supported very well. Whereas today, full field, big pot, on the eve of Cheltenham, I think it's a brilliant race. It's pity, I do think it's pity the bonus isn't there anymore.
Yeah.
Back,
I think the bonus was there last year, and we only got how many runners in the race? There was no runners turned up, so you kind of think, you don't blame him for thinking, well, why do we bother?
And Langer Dan, who won it last year, of course, and then finished second to an absolute good thing.
At Cheltenham.
The Martin Pike, Galopin de Champs. Yeah, exactly. He's now, right, there's no bonus, says Harry and Daskeln. I'm going straight to the final race of the festival. So he has swerved it, hasn't he? Ground for Balco Coastal. Obviously, he was 9-1 at the start of the week. He went all the way into 7-2. This is probably on course money push. I don't know. People are probably on him, I would imagine. This is a 4-1 to field race, but ground?
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Okay.
Like I said, I think when he was second in his point, it was soft ground. I suppose being kind of a typical 7-barrow horse, he probably never ran on terrible, desperate ground.
Why is it that we associate 7-barrows horses with sounder surfaces?
I suppose Nicky, he's probably admitted himself, he loves fast horses, and I suppose horses look faster in general when they run on better ground. You
said to me when we did What a Shout feature show a couple of months ago, you said he's got this great tendency to put speed into horses.
Yeah. A lot of.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, like I do. And to be fair, obviously, you probably noticed it myself, but a lot of point-to-point handlers who sell horses to Nicky and they might think like they're proper 3-milers, and all of a sudden they're romping up in a 2-mile bumper around Huntington or Kempton. And it's actually something that they kind of said to me, and it's actually Barry Gerry said it a good few years ago too. And ever since he said it, I've always kind of, at first I kind of didn't really get it, but over the years you do see it, you know what I mean? He does train speed.
How does he do that? How does he train speed in?
Yeah, I don't know. I suppose like a lot of these Irish trainers use deep sand. Nicky has got a deep sand gallop, but he doesn't rely on it. Most of his gallops are always easy surfaces, and the grass never gets too deep. So yeah, I don't think horses are kind of, I just think they find it very easy on his gallops, and they go to the track, the ground isn't too bad, and they find it easy,
Hence you got annoying people like me when it rains saying, oh, how's it going to be on the ground?
Yeah,
and all that sort of thing.
But like this horse now, like he's back in trip, which is very interesting. Like I said, we all thought he was going to be 2.5 miler, and like if he was going to Cheltenham, he was definitely going to run the county as opposed to Coral, because just a fast run 2 miles is what we think he wants, which hopefully he'll get.
He came up against North Lodge last time and they omitted a couple of hurdles, and that form wasn't harmed at all, was it?
No, I thought he, what was he beating? A short-headed Kelso last week in a grade 2. He ran an incredible race. Yeah. You couldn't knock the form there at all.
Should we talk about Nicky's record in this?
Go on, hit me.
Well, we know the winner, don't we? Because you wrote the winner.
Better than what's it called, I'd imagine.
No, I thought we rehearsed this earlier on, Jerry.
It's
actually a dreadful record.
Is it? Yeah.
He's won it once, which is strange, isn't it, for a 2-mile handicap?
Yeah,
It's been as long-standing as it has. Dave's Dream in 2009, also knew very well.
Yeah, true. Actually, I suppose maybe with that in mind, maybe he just had, like I said, his big guns going to Cheltenham.
I mean, well, exactly.
Yeah,
I say it's awful. It wouldn't be like the Martin Pipe MO, would it? Like, who used to farm this race. Right, let's win both.
Yeah. Yeah, and they used
Barry,
to
go on.
It's a stable form, Jerry. I think that's why the drift. We're seeing the drift. He was kind of well supported.
Obviously, Barry, this question came up an awful lot in the previews that I've been doing the last few days, but I'm reading absolutely nothing into it. If you actually look up Nicky Henderson's form on Racing Post or wherever you want to look at his past 12, 15 runners. Look what prices they've been.
Yeah.
I don't think there's been one favourite.
No.
And rightly so. Their horses, every yard's got a lot of horses that aren't going to win novice hurdles, bumpers.
You weren't worried about it, and I got to interview him. It was a pleasure for me in the week as they circle round. But he's not worried about it, is he at all?
The horses are bucking, squealing. They're
We're
ready.
going to start talking about some work.
They're ready
with
for
Jerry.
their
Don't
life.
worry about it. We'll get the Constitution line for you out there. We'll get the Shishkin line for you out there. It's coming. Don't worry. We warned him up now. But you're right, Barry. He was 0 from 18 going into this week, and in the 3 o'clock coming up, we've got a very well backed filly of his, of course, the 4-year-old Lucia, of course, in the bumper. So we're gonna find out now, aren't we, Barry? Okay, they're jockeying for position.
Current mood 11.5 now. Up for Parole is probably the best back horse in the race for Gavin Sheehan. They'll try to get off in front by the looks of it. He's 14.5 now. 6.2 Blanco Coastal. So he's found his level. Lucky One, bit of a negative for him just as we get closer to post time, 12.5.
Indeed. Okay. All right. Lovely stuff. Thank you, Barry Orr. All right. Just a quick one. That's the first Grade 3 triumph for Lorcan Williams. Apparently, he has one, of course, on a Cheltenham Festival horse.
Yeah, last year.
Perhaps a race he'll never do again.
No, he's not going to Hunter Chase.
Paul Lock Bay, wasn't it?
Do that again,
Price-wise, Tom Seagull, he's, of course, gone for Current Mood, who Barry mentioned there has been a bit of a buzzer. Lucky One with Harry Skelton on. Let's see how he goes, because no better handicapped horse in the race. And he's right out the back. He's doing an hour jet again as they kick up the turf now. The sun is shining in Esher, but the rain has had an impact. And Up for Parole, as Barry said, does want a bit of it. Who's this up there as well? Surely not again.
Up there too.
Mr. Grey Sky,
Nick Kent's horse.
Yes, Nick Kent, Mick Maestro. For 1 minute, I thought that was Kieran again. Trying to do it. I thought, come on, man. How many Weetabix did you have?
Keep sending them.
History Bear.
Sorry, I've got Bassy to do that.
Kieran likes to watch back the highlights of this, so we have a bit of fun with him. Monvielle is out the back as well. Unexposed Philip Hobbs, course winner. Hacker de Plaz, who's quite interesting. Miranda there as well for the winning owners group, of course. Great syndicate they are. They've had lots of big fun, haven't they? Lebowski out the back as well. A couple of our judges went for that. Who is now in front? Let's have a look. What have we got? Is it Mr. Grey Sky?
Mr. Grey Sky.
Yeah, of course it is.
He's almost full of confidence at the minute.
David Bass, a jockey that likes to get on with it.
Definitely, but now he's hit the front. He has just put down the anchor a small bit, and I'd say he's dictating the fractions out in front.
Yeah, Angus Chilada up there on Hacker de Plaz. What's on the outside here in the red colours and the black? Oh, that's Balco, isn't it?
Yeah.
Having a bit of the early action.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, definitely. I think Nick was kind of decided to go a bit wider. Maybe like I said, the horses down the inside didn't perform too well, so maybe just going for a bit nicer ground.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely looking at that previous race. Kate, who's catching your eye?
Unfortunately, not History Bear there. I mean, he has just drifted back further, but he's on the inside rail. And I think Jerry makes a very good point there about the outer, then trying to find that slightly better ground throughout Sandown. You get the better run then into the home straight as well when they turn in. So basically, at this stage, I mean, we haven't got the camera angle here, but I would be looking for something a bit wider, ridden mid-div to further back on recent trends of where you'd really want to be in this race.
Yeah, that was a worry about History Bear, wasn't it? Is whether he'd get lost again at a crucial point in the race. And Barry, let's come to you. I'm on the far side as we watch them go over around about 4 or 5 out at the moment. Guess what the clock says? 30 mile an hour.
No surprise there. Mr. Grey Sky's into 10.5, out to 11.5 now. 15 surprise package. One more for the road is into 11. 7.6 Lucky One. He's getting a quiet ride just mid-div or just behind mid-div. Johnny Burke getting an absolute growler for my pick. Grabisi de Versailles. He's pulling the arms out, and there's no way he can get home. But Yeah, interesting. Mr. Grey Sky's now into 11.
Thank you, Barry. All right, Kaliko up there as well. Another skeleton horse that ticks a lot of boxes. Surprise package, an Irish Raider. Watching him come out for the Fahey team. Yeah, lucky one. Look at him come through.
Yeah.
This is a horse that used to be with Willie Mullins. He's taking his time to find. Paul Nicholls couldn't get him quite right. Over we go then. Mr. Grey Sky, 3 outs. Yeah, Samarive, not again today. Monviel catching my eye as well. The novice, more in front of him than behind. History Bear is warming up, Kate.
Yeah, he is. He just slightly missed that one. There are a few of them there. We just got a bit blindsided by that last hurdle. But yeah, he's just on and off the bridle again. But these ones that are coming around the field, the eye catcher has been the Skelton horse. And throughout, he's come from mid-division then. He's just slowly working his way into it, getting a lovely clear run on the outside as well. He's definitely been the eye catcher.
Here come the closers then. Zambezi's son, Zambezi Fix, who's up there as well. Loads of course form for him. Lebowski's catching my eye. This is like the last race, isn't it? This is where we go from 5th gear to 0. Whatever your selections are. Look at Lively Citizen, the one I would call the Cheltenham horse. Current Mood coming into it as well. Kivaha there as well. Any chances you like.
Johnny.
Surprise Partridge as well. Look at this, Johnny Burkhorse. How well handicapped is this? This is what he did at Kempton last time. Will he see that? Look at Lebowski coming through the pack. Robbie Wilder's our tipster will be insufferable if this wins. Okay, on the outside, West Balco Ghostly not got home. Is he on the ground? Disappointing run for him. At the moment, it's Lively Citizen. Tough as they come. He is Hackett de Plage on the inside. Surprise package. Not another one for Ireland, Jerry McGrath.
Not moved.
James Bowen hasn't even moved a muscle.
Oh, this is ridiculous, isn't it? Look at this. This is all over bar the last. Over he goes. Surprise package. A horse that couldn't win in Ireland. Guess what? Comes over. Oh, no, it's Cheltenham week. We're all fearing the worst now, aren't we? 23-5 being shouted all around the land. This has made a complete mockery of it. Ridiculous, isn't it? Was this a look at Jerry McGrath's face?
You know, hopefully it's not. Hopefully Ireland can win in the rugby later on as well, just to make sure.
Oh, we might as well rub it in now, haven't you?
Time to be Irish.
My jersey, actually. I was meant to bring that.
Oh, Barry, that was another Irish horse that's come over. And do you know what? He's pulled him down, hasn't he?
Mockery.
Yeah, he's rated 130 in Ireland. He got a mark of 135 in the UK. And obviously the ground's the key to the horse, I would imagine. That's the excuse they'll be giving the stewards. Anyway, he's made a mockery of his mark, like Jerry's just said there. But yeah, a real surprise. Betfair SP at 22.3, so 21 to 1. Your winner, Lively Citizen, traded at a low of 3.35, so 9 to 4 Lively Citizen. There was a whole host of them came there as well at one stage, wasn't there? 6.8 Current Mood. Mr. Grey Sky traded at a low of 8 in running. Kaliko, low of 15. Just another one. A lot of them went from 0 to 0 in a matter of strides after jumping the second last.
That was absolutely out like a light, wasn't it? Very much so. I mean, they're walking home behind this. Lively Citizens run an absolute belter. A horse that's, had really good handicap form all the way through, but it's fair to say he's bumped into one there.
If Gabrizi, the horse that I back, Gabrizi, the BC, if that ever learns to settle, Jamie, he'll have some engine and maybe back on a bit of better ground.
Correct. That's exactly what he wants. He's a sort of late season winner, wasn't he? And how he's still there tanking. How much had to do with going wide there, Jerry?
Yeah, I suppose. I just thinking there, poor Peter Fahey, I'd say he's absolutely probably devastated there's not the bonus this year, because imagine him running next week with a £7 penalty.
All right, let me look. Hang on a sec. This is where me and Barry have to start. Of course, he was 9th in the Liffeys, wasn't he? Now, that's an interesting thing as well. The Liffey handicap hurdle, formerly called the Pierce, the Ladbroke, whatever you call it, on Dublin Festival. Oh, my Lord.
Just so we drop the anchor, who's been a big
I'll tell you what, the traders, Barry, they're going to be saying, oh, God, here we go. Absolutely get ready. He was 9th. No extra in that, which means he had his chance.
10 from 20 in the county, the winner.
Is that what he is?
Yeah.
And this is a yard that can win, of course, handicap hurdles at Cheltenham. In fact, is this the Belfast Banter Brigade?
Yeah, and I think that I just seen in the news today that there's a few other horses that being well backed. I think elsewhere. I think it was in Ireland maybe.
What, Fahey's?
Yeah, that there was a gamble on
the
2 or 3 horses.
In Garran Park, yeah.
Yeah, that Liffey handicap hurdle, though, that's a race that people so often look for your handicap hurdles then at the festival. And then you've got Drop the Anchor. He's going for the Coral Cup, most likely. You've got Corby Lyrene going for the county. Magic Tricks going for the county.
Yes.
So, yeah, we're in danger. We're in danger as the British then from that handicap, looking to throw up winners yet again at the festival.
Isn't that remarkable? I know, we also, it's like the inevitable, isn't it? You kind of... With 23.5 last year, I mean, it was like, honestly, it was like them making the hill look down. I mean, when Heaven help us when it won the Coral Cup, yes, she was gifted a ridiculous freebie, but then we knew we were in all sorts of trouble.
Yeah, well, it's just interesting because in the last few weeks, these previews and stuff like that, a few people have been commenting saying, you know, the English handicapper has been a bit more lenient this year on his own horses, on the English horses, and maybe a bit harder on the Irish horses. But if that's anything to go by, is that setting standards for the week?
Apparently not on that basis.
Yeah, handicap hurdles, as we know. Of course, the winner was tipped by Tom Seagull, of course, price-wise, so it was there. Like Barry says, he ought to be getting in with a penalty as well to the county, so it is there. And was it Belfast Banner that won it last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, before going on to win a Grade 1 at Aintree.
That guy's been on the go since Galway last July.
Yeah, he's in America
now, isn't he? Yeah. What did they
Belfast
pay for? That was an absolute steal on the thoroughbid, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was it, yeah. If he'd gone to a public sale, he'd have made more money, I'd say, you know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah, it was incredible.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Right. There you go. You'll be delighted to know that hurdles are over for the day at Sandown. We've got a couple of chases. Well, if you're British, that is. All right. That was a Goffs winner, apparently, was it? What's that?
There you go.
Will's actually put it on the chat.
Thanks for the nudge.
Iron Smiler has just called the winner in that. Well done out there, Iron Smiler. See you on the chat box out there. We can start building them up a little bit because it starts to quieten down once we get this next listed race at Wolverhampton out the way. Shall we get the market up on the screen? There it is, surprise package. Not for some out there. If you're following Tom Seagull this winter, you are absolutely in clover, aren't you? And once again, he's pulled the rabbit out of the hat. Peter Fahey doing his thing. Let's get the exchange market up then for the next at Wolverhampton. It's the 240. Here we go. And they're on a double, as I said. King Power for Happy Power. Class horse in the race, Barry Orr.
Yeah, 4.0, so 3-1 chance, 6. Misty Grey, International Angel is 8.29. Almacar, Tinker Toy, 9.2. Highfield Princess is the horse I fancy in it, the filly. She's out to 12. I don't know how she's such a massive drifter. She was a 6-1 chance, so she's doubled in price. But Buckingham Palace winner at Royal Ascot, she was beaten 8-13 favoured in Chelmsford, but that was last time out. That was following a break of 124 days. So you'd expect her to come on considerably for that run. Time before that, her 2 runs back, she was only beaten 3 1/4 lengths in the Group 1 at the Champions Day in Ascot. You know, she's 10 runs between May and October last year. She's a remarkable filly. You know, she's danced every dance. And I think even the market's suggesting that today's not the day, but I'm not going to let that put me off, Kate. We're going to have 50 quid win on her at 11.0, and we're going to back her in the place market as well, because she'll try to get off in front, or she'll be definitely up handy with the pace, and she could take a bit of passing. So we're going to back her in the place market as well, standard place market, where she's currently trading at around 9-4, 3.25. We're going to have 25 quid on her there as well, please.
Perfect.
Righto, the rock hard Highfield Princess. Yeah, she was a little bit underwhelming, and she loves Chelmsford.
You'd 50 quid on her in the win market, Kate.
Oh, sorry.
Tasty.
Whoa, there we go. It's
Sorry,
Cheltenham
I'm
time.
being
It's the best time of year, Barry.
Apologies, Barry.
50 quid.
Did you have any ideas about the charity, by the way? Do you? I mean, we do IJFs and. You know,
which suggestion?
Well, yeah.
Oh, I don't know. You put me on the spot now. I suppose there's, like Barry said earlier, I suppose there's so many good ones involved within the racing industry. Yeah, it's a tough one, I suppose. Yeah.
I'll let you think about that.
Yeah, let me have a think.
One question he couldn't answer. Keep the questions coming in for Jerry out there, people. Like I say, it quietens down a little bit, but let's concentrate on this. Well, Happy Power, King Power, if you're out there, the day I'm having, I'm afraid to say, I'm expecting you to have that double. No all-weather form for the favourite, but the draw, and it's just a class horse of the race. I thought the ex-French horse was very interesting with Andrea Ozzini up. Amilcar. Penalties have been carried successfully in this race, and he's 2 for 4 on the all-weather over there. He could be quite interesting, but Happy Power, I mean, a horse that running, a Glorious Goodwood, Ascot, he wants to be going very close in this. Misty Grey is an interesting horse, Kate. 4 from 4 at the track. Tom Dascombe, soon to make the move to Lambourne.
Yeah, I think this is his last runner from Manor House as well, isn't it? I'm pretty sure Misty Grey itself. So, yeah, I mean, consider it Happy Power. As you say, he is the class act of this race, but he's never set foot on all weather in a racing sense, at least anyway. So he does have that question to have to answer. Of Misty Grey, those £3 on official ratings to have to find there, with his unbeaten record around Wolverhampton, I just think he's the value there for. So he's the one that I'd be siding with. 4 from 4 at Wolverhampton. He absolutely loves this place, and he's really improved his form since joining Tom Dascombe from Mark Johnston as well. So I think that he can just improve again. Of course, his second last time out then. Didn't get the form boost we really wanted from Latihati, but probably draw and the way the race worked out probably conspired against him. And
Would the draw worry you here, 9? Well,
again,
obviously not
slightly.
that much, but...
No, not as much as last time. And we saw our winner from the last race then over the longer trip coming from stall 11 anyway.
Yeah.
So not as dismissive as opposed to Latihati, hopefully.
Yeah, Richard Kingston would be hoping to do what David Probert did from the gates, going into that turn. It's a sharp old bend there, isn't it? What does Jerry McGrath like in the Wolfrida?
I didn't have a strong fancy, to be fair, but I just think it's very interesting that the connection's a Happy Power. He's a 6-year-old. He's still a full horse. He's in training for another year basically, and I think that's very interesting. Obviously he was a Group 2 winner a few years ago, but I suppose he's a bit disappointing last year. But I don't know, maybe he's at like 110. He's rated high. The one horse I just thought was very interesting was International Angel. She's a 5-year-old mare, but she's been really on an upward curve, and could she keep the winning sequence going today?
Well, she's monstrously progressive, isn't she?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. She went up, it was at £8 for winning again the last day. So
beat Whittle Le Woods.
That's it, yeah.
So the form line is there, isn't it? This is a step. This is the acid test, I suppose, but we've got her on, handicapper's got her on 100, we've got her on 104, so the progression is potentially there from stall 7. Might be run to suit Roger Varian's got one in this. Rog didn't go for Latihati. Is that right? Latihati?
Yes.
Yeah, I got it right in the end. But Tinker Toy is, again, a horse that likes the all-weather, I think. From stall 5, Jack Mitchell, good spin, potentially, Kate.
Yeah, no, definitely. And Jack Mitchell, I mean, he himself has been in flying form, hasn't he, recently? So, yeah, a jockey that I think an awful lot of, Jack Mitchell then. And Tinker Toy, I mean, he has got it to find on the official ratings, therefore, in this listed contest off of 96. But considering the form that he comes here in, still remains unexposed as well. So Tinker Toy might well be a fair each way price, therefore, to be siding with in this pretty open contest, actually.
All right, great stuff. There's a 240. They're going in. Happy Power, the great, there he is. Of course, he went over to Riyadh, didn't he? Wasn't quite at his best there, but he ought to have come on for that. It would be disappointing if he doesn't go very close here, I think. It's just what sort of price you want to take. But a reminder, Barry, hoping that Highfield Princess, what a year she had last year, hoping that she can come back as a 5-year-old. For John Quinn, Jason Hart, probably one of his favourite fillies out there. It's been interesting to see what she does from stall 8. A couple more to go in. River Nymph. Sorry, Barry.
She's sure to try to get to the front. There's not a lot of pace on here, so she's hopefully
Nice.
she'll get out and get across.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Barry. Yeah, you're right. She's just got one way of running, and she's tough, didn't she? When she got on that rail at Ascot last year.
Isn't she? She just didn't let her backers down at all, and you were mostly getting an each way price about her on most of her starts as well. So,
yeah, certainly getting it here. So if you had your fingers burnt on return, let's hope you've not given up the faith. Good luck wherever you are. All right, we're off and running then for the final time this afternoon on Racing Post Live at Wolverhampton. And Misty Gray, very interestingly, Richard Kingscote takes his medicine from the draw. He's going to do the Jamie Spencer, watch them all in. There was a lack of the pace, and give it a second. There's Jason Hitman Hart's up in front, along with Air Harbour. Doesn't want to be up there, Mick Appleby, what a day he's having, but absolutely pulling like stink, that one. River Nymph is up. It would be typical if Clive got the run on you here, wouldn't it?
Yeah, probably his double figure prices
without having
as well.
tipped it. She's a little bit wide, International Angel, down the far side.
Yeah, she was slow away as well.
Was she? All right. You've got to be happy with Happy Power, and you what's the exchange saying, Barry, around about 3s?
Yeah, 3.9, just not far off is Betfair SP. 4.2 Misty Gray, 46 International Angel. That's the one that's taken a hike. Amlacar is 8.6, 6.2 Tinker Toy. They're all there.
Yeah,
6.8 now Highfield Princess. She's half in price.
Watch Volatile.
Jason to kick now and let them come and get her if they can.
Well, we're coming in, absolutely. Go on then, the Hitman. Let you go. It's not been a bad thing, is it? Kicking off the front. Happy Power now filling his lungs. Tinker Toy, they're eyeballing up front. Will they just set it up for a close? Where's the French horse? Looking for that on the inside, not filling its lungs at the moment. Come on then on the inside. Let's keep it going, Highfield. It's Tinker Toy's up there. Does he want it, Tinker Toy? She's tough as they come, but she's just given first run. Running out of puff now. Happy Power, all too late in the day. Misty Gray, the unbeaten record going. I think as Tinker Toy sees it out. Happy Power, second again, and Misty Gray on the premises. Once again, you had to be handy in the home straight at Wolverhampton. Well done if you kept on the Rog train with Tinker Toy. Barry, when did they know he was about to take over your Highfield Princess?
Yeah, when the winner went by Highfield Princess, she traded very short then Tinker Toy. Highfield Princess hit a low of 3.7, so just around the 11 to 4 mark. Happy Power hit a low of 2.74, just in the shadows of the post, but it was coming all too late for his backers.
Yeah, a little bit disappointing there, Happy Power, wasn't he? He's let that zip, and Remember, this is also trying to make it. If you're on Misty Grey like Kate was, a bit of a tough watch, Kate, wasn't it?
Yeah, that wasn't ideal, really. You can understand why Connections chose the tactics from Store 9 to just try something different than with Misty Grey to drop him in, but unfortunately...
He's taken off, hasn't he?
He has absolutely taken off, but it's just a way that the bias is working at Wolverhampton then today. You don't want to be too far away from the pace. Also, that inside line we've seen in the last few meetings of Wolverhampton has been a place definitely to stick off of, more towards the centre of a track, ridden prominently, exactly what Tinker Toy then had throughout, and another winner for Jack Mitchell then.
I'll give you a steer, actually, at 3:31, not 3:30. The horse that beat that last time, Tadrib, runs at Lingfield today for Michael Atwater, and will be extremely hard to run down, you would imagine. So up into a handicap goes Tinker Toy, but it's from these Connections, lightly raced, Warfront, distorted humour. It's all synthetics. Look out for that at Newcastle on Easter Friday. When is Easter? Mid-April, isn't it, this time?
Yeah, it's confusing, isn't it?
Whenever the points are.
15th of April.
Yeah, okay, 15th of April.
Friday's the 15th of April.
A big day and a taste of what's to come out there for you. We bid farewell to Dunstall Park then. What fun we've had. Good luck. Well, Jerry got off to a flyer.
Yeah, and it's gone downhill since then.
You need to listen.
Very
next
swift.
time you come in, I'll coach you into it. Start slow, finish strong.
No
This is
worries,
what I'm doing today.
Yeah.
And I need it.
Yeah.
Always remember the last one.
I need it. All right, we've got a bit more time in between races now. Then, of course, coming up. Okay, what do we got? Plenty of you watching out there this afternoon. Welcome along. Racing Post Live with Betfair along the way. Barry Orr joining me. Barry's going to be with me every single day next week. We've got some great top talent coming in. All the terrestrial races at Cheltenham will be covering you with breaking the news. I wonder if we get lucky with another sensational acca this time around, Barry.
Fingers crossed. I'm meeting him for dinner on Monday evening, actually, Paul Dean. Yeah, I've never met him in person, so looking forward to that.
Really?
I've corresponded a lot with him. He's some nice multiple bets as well.
I hope he's paying for dinner.
So do I. We'll see. Only time will tell. I'll let you know on Tuesday.
There we go. There you go. That's great, isn't it? Do you remember that last? Did you catch wind of that? It was going on to NYLM, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And we broke it here. This is what you get. Racing Post Live is what you get. And Barry was feverishly beavering away, and we were like more than normal.
Yeah.
And he said, "Guys, I tell you what." And it was the acca of dreams. You know, all season it had been running, and it was going on to what many people considered the banker of the festival.
Yeah, this time last year, yeah.
And we broke it on the show, ITV. It became an overnight sensation, Barry, didn't he?
He certainly did, yeah. What a lovely chap. Really, really down to earth, nice guy. It was for a fiver, like. It's stuff dreams are made of. It was winning him £500,000. And he wanted to cash out, but he wanted to be able to cheer home Envoy Allen. So we got him a partial cash out where he banked 250k. Yeah. And if Envoy Allen went on to win, he would have got another 50. So he would have won 300,000. But we all know, unfortunately, what happened. But still, he got $250,000 for his £5 bet. But like you say, it ran throughout the season. There was horses from Royal Ascot had won it, Goodwood, all sorts of places he had running up onto Envoy Allen.
That was brave, wasn't it? To take your partial cash out.
And it was a real. Again, you get this here on Racing Post Live. If you watch it back last year's show, it was a shock horror moment when Envoy went.
When he
Envoy,
fell. Oh yeah.
A lot have been said about whether this was the Frankel of the jumps.
And so early in the race, it was second fence, no, third fence.
Second or third.
Just so early.
I would have had too much ego to have cashed out. I would have just...
So perhaps let's build up some socials that we get them on. What accas have you got up there? I've been asking on the shows yesterday. We know the double, don't we? The honeysuckle Shishkin double. What would you put in with him? While you build them up, shall we? Is it? You're warm now. You've had a year. You know, it feels like you've had a year and a bit in the studio.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
true.
You're an absolute old pro now. Let's talk about Shishkin. I spoke to you on Wednesday. I said, is everything all right? Coming in, you're going all over the place. You did a big Cheltenham preview last night. We'll talk about that maybe a little bit later in the show. And I said, I'm about to ring your governor, Nicky.
Yeah.
We mentioned the stable form. I heard he'd snapped at someone of my standing, and I thought I'd get Jerry's steer on it. He goes, good time to be calling, Dave, because Shishkin has worked and Constitution Hill has worked this morning, and all has gone well. All has gone well, hasn't it?
Yeah, like touch wood, like it's been a very... the week before Cheltenham is usually a terrible time. Sometimes, you can always have the horror stories. Whatever about how they gallop in the morning, when they look around the evening, there can be something come to light with some horses, even if the horses at double figure prices. But touch wood, it's been very seamless this year. It's been incredible. It's just been very straightforward, and hopefully between now and Tuesday, it all continues to be straightforward.
Have you sat on him much at home? Is that something you would do?
Not in a while, because I haven't ridden out now for a while, obviously
Okay.
with the injury, because the shoulder's still at me and stuff.
How is
But
the shoulder?
yeah, it's good. It's not too bad. It's not too bad.
I've not tested it yet.
I won't be going painting ceilings anytime soon. But
Is that right?
That's all of
okay.
those summer jobs.
Thank God for Racing Post Live.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, on a Saturday.
Yeah.
But no, he worked on Wednesday, and it was his last proper bit. Like most of the horses, they had worked on Tuesday, Wednesday this week up the grass, and yeah, he was incredible. Yeah.
When you say incredible, what does that mean?
Because, so obviously, when I've been in Seven Barrows, I've been like obviously Altior's been there. Sprinter's been there.
Simon Sigg, that's who you're thinking of?
They were all real fast 2-milers. You know, they'd have won on the flat. Whereas Shishkin, he's not like that. He's so laid back. Like, he looks like, you know, you see him work, and sometimes you think he might run 4 miles. You know, he's not a flashy workhorse, but his work in the last kind of 10 days has been very, very good, and especially on Wednesday, it was very, very good.
Took him 2 goes to win a point, didn't it? An Irish point.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, he got beaten on debut. Yeah, and I think the winner never actually turned out to be a whole.
Keith Dalglish's got the winner. Prince Caiff, is that
Yeah,
right? It's up there,
something like that. Yeah,
and do you know who was second ahead of him was Kilteely Briggs?
Yeah, who actually does run at Cheltenham next week as well, doesn't he?
The Ultima. Yeah. I was going to save that line for Tuesday.
Yeah, sorry, I just robbed it. Yeah.
So everything's A1, and after the Clarence House, a lot of people, you know, so much has been said about that.
Did it take too much out of him?
Well, the Altior and the I have to search for surname in your bank because poor old surname never. Really
but I suppose the one thing, and I didn't come up with this stat, as he called it, myself. Someone told me this a while back, but they were having their seasonal debut that day at Ascot, whereas
these two are hardened.
They'd had a run under their belt, which is a massive thing. It's like anything. It's like if you go to the gym or you do anything like that. You know, the first day, Monday can always be the toughest, but as the week goes on, it becomes easier. You know, and I just think they all had, the two of them had runs under their belt that time. And I can't speak for Willie Mullins' team, but like Shishkin came out of the race better than he probably went into it.
But he knew he'd had a race, didn't he?
To a point, he was quiet.
That's what you told me on the phone, man.
You're making this up. He was quiet for a day or two, but like you said, they did, you know, go flat out over 2 miles on soft ground. But within 3 or 4 days, he was back bouncing, and you know, he was, you know, in a string. You don't usually wouldn't pick him out because he just kind of puts his head down and gets on with it. But he was jig-jogging, he was fresh, and he came out of it very well, and he's been in a good place ever since.
And Nicky said to me in the week, maybe going left-handed might be also a plus.
Yeah, definitely. Like that was the one kind of chink that we thought an Ergomin could unearth at Ascot the last day, because Shishkin, he doesn't jump left, but if he ever is just putting himself right, he just tends to just go a bit left, and he just, you know, when you accumulate that after, you know, 12 fences, it does add up, and he probably gave away a couple of lengths doing it, and obviously that didn't include for the peck down the hill as well, where all of us kind of sat back in our seats and heart was in our mouth kind of second. But yeah, going back left-handed, it'll definitely be a plus.
Is he a nice horse?
Oh yeah, he's a gent.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Yeah, he just, you could literally.
There was a lovely tweet somewhere of Nicky trying to get his hat, wasn't he? Did you see that?
Yeah. He just, and with regards to at home, like I'd say, Dave, you could even ride him out at home.
Look, listen, everyone thought it was going to be Rodway sitting on a horse. But
no, he's a real chilled out character. But like I said, he takes a bit annoying because, like I said, if you came to watch a horse gallop up, like to watch horses gallop, and you saw him go by, you'd have to just, you know, double check it was Shishkin, because he doesn't do anything flashy. He just does what he needs to every morning, and he's very straightforward.
And do you think that in his races, that's why he sort of hits that flat spot? Is that just his personality, his character, that he is just sort of a little bit laid back?
And I still think, like, you know, he could win over 2 miles on a Tuesday, and you could turn him out over 3 days later over 3 miles.
Yeah.
He'd stay the trip, no problem.
That's the question we'll end on. All being well, he comes through this season.
Will he run into King George?
Well, that's the question, isn't it?
I think a lot of people are asking the same question. But it's one of those, touch wood, he wins during the week. But what's the point of stepping up the trip? If he's
very valuable.
If he's beaten all what's put in front of him over 2 miles, why change it?
Is it the best division to ride in?
Yeah,
the 2 mile.
Yeah, it is. And
is it scariest?
Even from his punter's point of view, even just looking at those races, it's brilliant. And whatever bit offensive, but even 2 mile fast run handicaps are incredible. Like whether it's the Betfair or whether it's the Coral or the County Hurdle next week, 2 mile, you can't beat it. You know, it's exhilarating.
Oh right, okay, Barry, let's come to you. We've heard all that. What price is he currently on the sportsbook? Shishkin.
Shishkin, the last time I looked, he was a shade of odds on the sports book. I suppose, Dave, at this stage, it's more pertinent to be looking at the exchange, because the sports book is non-runner, no bet, whereas the exchange is all in. So it's a better reflection of what price he's going to be on the day. He's 206. So he's just a shade of odds against. And Nergamin into 4.7 after hitting a high of 12 when he had that stone bruise that time. Shack and Persois 7.6, and it's 15 bar. personally, I think it's a dead match between the two of them, Siskin and Energumen. If they both run their races, I don't see how Energumen. I know people are saying, oh, if you stop it at the distance of the Queen Mom Champion Chase in Ascot, that Energumen's in front, but that doesn't ring any bells for me. And I think if they both run their races and there's no significant jumping errors, I can't see how Energumen turns it around with him.
Please God, we see what we saw in the Clarence House. Quite right, Barry. Isn't that interesting? Barry, just stick with you then. If you had to guess an SP now then for Shishkin, put you on the spot a bit. Come on, you've been in this game more than any of us.
If you had to guess an SP, the public like him. He's going to be in all sorts of ACCAs. If Sir Gerhard runs in the Ballymore, which he probably will, I can see people doubling up Sir Gerhard and Seskin as the short price double on the day, and they'll be running up money. So probably a shade of odds on, probably 4 to 5.
All right then. Evans currently on the exchange out there for you. Fantastic. Kate, a champion chase for the ages just before we go and have a look at the Mayor's Bumper coming up. Shishkin for you?
No.
Oh, you're
no.
I've seen you writing about this. What?
Yeah, because I know I said this again, reiterated this again then on the Betfair preview the other day, and basically I was challenged with writing an article on how Energumen could reverse the form with Shishkin, and the more I delved into it, the more I convinced myself, right, these nails are just complete fluke, by the way, these colours. Not actually.
Tony Bloom's you're trying to get in contract with him now.
Team Energumen.
Kieran was painting them on last night.
I did his own in return.
Watching your greyhound win by 7 lengths at Swindon.
No, but that was, so just to reiterate the points again, so I feel like I've done this about 1,000 times, but just to make the points again, sorry, Jerry, that the Clarence House was meant to be run over 2 miles, 167 yards. For triples, actually 2 miles, 210 yards when taking into account rail movements. Therefore, it was run over 10 yards shy of 2 mile 1. Champion Chase due to be run over 1 mile, 7 furlongs, 199 yards, 231 yards less than the Clarence House Chase. And as Barry said, if buts, why nots, we had paused the race in the Clarence House Chase at that point, 231 yards previously. Energumen was in front, still jumping well. Front runner bias. That's why I was interested maybe tactically how they were going to ride Shishkin to make sure that they counteracted the front runner bias of the old course. Any ideas, Jerry?
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? I suppose with that in mind, it would be better tell Nico to get a run up at the start so they go extra 150 yards or whatever at the start. Just get a little shimmy on early.
Exactly that. Well, listen, that's Shishkin done for you out there. What a pleasure it is to have Jerry and lifting the lid on for us, and very eloquent talker as well. So cannot wait. We'll be covering of that, of course, in the studio. You two we're going to see you though each morning. We're going to do something. We're launching a new show called Good Morning Cheltenham from the track. And you've even been roped into that.
Yeah, I hear you're renting a nice fancy cottage in the Cotswolds, so I couldn't say no.
Trust me, I'll be in the studio all weekend. I don't get to get in the country air like you and Barry and Kate, but you're going to be doing that, Kate, for us as well?
Yeah, Thursday and Friday I'm booked in for, so
lovely.
Yeah, end of a long week.
8:30, Dave Jennings, Paul Keeley, they'll all be having some fun. So it starts early here at the Racing Post. Great stuff. All right then, let's go back to Sandown, shall we? 2 more coming from there. Great big gap we've got, of course, in between the next 2 races. The final race at 3:35. Who wants to know about Constitution Hill is the question. I've got a feeling that might be where we're coming. Any more Henderson horses you want to hear about? Anything in life in general from Jerry? Get them in. And what wins this race, Barry Orr? Mullenbeg. She could have gone to the Champion Bumper.
Yeah, he kept her, and he's kept her to mares as well here for this race. Mullenbeg currently 2.62. Just since you've started talking there, is that 13.8 from 6 to 4, 5.8 Lucia. That's the big drifter. Had been short as 4.2 on the Betfair Exchange, but has to be stable form. Like we saw Blanco Coastal there fancied in the Imperial Cup, and like when push came to shove, I think he's pulled up at the finish, Jerry, did he? I couldn't see, but
yeah, it was unusual, Dave. I just even going past the winning post the first time, Nico was actually giving him a squeeze. Yeah, he ran an unusual race, for a horse that we kind of thought wanted a fast run 2 miles. He was off the bridle a long way out. But
this mare's drifting as a result of that. Like she did get very short indeed. She was a 3-to-1 chance at one stage this morning, but there's that uncertainty and lack of confidence in the yards runners for punters at the moment. So we're seeing that reflected here in Lucia's price. 13.5 Hidden Beauty, I thought had a bit of a chance. Flirtatious Girl, 9.2. Evan Grace is 8.2. I'm going to take the favourite on though, please, Kate. We're going to take 50 quid at the backer stake at 2.56. And I'm happy to take her on. I know the race in Cheltenham, she's done it well, but the third was beaten since and the form of the Ludlow win is okay. I think she's a bit buzzy as well. They've raced her in the Hood a couple of times that she's won. Just at the price, I think the level of competition here is a lot better than what she faced in Cheltenham. Every horse in this race has won a race, and I think at 6-4 she's a definite lay. So just take 50 quid at the backer stake, please,
50.
Kate.
Right.
Yeah.
She's don't add another zero on that, Kate. Whatever you do, not this time,
I know.
please.
I feel like I owe Betfair 25 quid, which will be made up in no time.
Don't
I'm sure,
say that.
with my betting.
All right. Okay.
So 2.42. Excellent.
Taking on the Fav then, Barry Orr. It's a very interesting race, this, isn't it? Again, get your bloodstock hat on a little bit, Jerry. Of course, you're working for Goffs now, and you should have known that Surprise Package was a Goffs sale.
Yeah.
So I know you've not been there long,
You gave me
man.
a kick under the table. I was wondering what you were kicking me for.
That's it. We'll have to get the cattle prod out next.
Yeah, exactly.
But obviously, you're working for Goffs now. These races are extremely important. A couple of years ago, we needed some tinkering done. A lot of people saying there's been too much tinkering done, you know. But this is, obviously, we've got last year's winner coming back, Flirtatious Girl. The fact she's coming back for this shows you exactly what you need to know about the division at the moment.
Yeah, definitely, you know, and it's great to see such a good big field of, you know, nice fillies and mares that all, you know, there's very few here that, you know, on this ground, plenty of them have chances, you know, there's not too many social runners as such here. Plenty of them are going to lose kind of their unbeaten record or, you know, their latest run unbeaten record.
Are we tipping
anyway.
Lucia?
Yeah, I'm a big fan. She's a very nice filly. She's only 4-year-old on that ground, but obviously she's getting the weight allowance. I suppose just my one worry is that she's kind of flat bred. Her dam, we actually trained her in Nicky's, but she was a very good mare on the flat before she won a few over jumps. That would just be my only worry, that she isn't, you know, she isn't stoutly bred. She's not bred to be a real slogger on soft ground, but her mother was very talented, and this mare looks like she could be.
The Warwick form's pretty solid as well. Tom Lacey had the second. That should have won a bump at Wincanton. I covered that race with the post. So and the third has finished second as well. And the dam, of course, was called Oscar's Joy.
Amber.
Oh no, I'm looking at
Earth Amber.
Who was it?
Earth Amber.
Oh, okay, all right. For these connections, because this is
she's a homebred.
Yeah, we know about these horses very well in these colours, don't we? Well, anyway, Tom Seagull's put this up as well. Kate, I'm with the Vav here.
I am too, to be honest. I mean, that Lucia, she is interesting because that was at a time when, I mean, we associate Henderson's bumper horses, you know, with short price horses, they justify that. And if I remember rightly, that was at a time when plenty of them actually weren't really running to form. There were a few turned over at short prices. That's why she sort of stood out on that basis at that time. But yeah, interesting though. So I marked her up on that basis for that win, but I am with the favourite as well. What she showed last time out really was just remarkable. She has to give a stone away to Lucia, which in this ground isn't going to be easy whatsoever. But with the Milton Harris yard in flying form, the experience to this mare's name. I love what she did at Ludlow as well. She just came around the outside, and the turn of foot then last time out at Cheltenham, I think she can give the weight away. So interesting race, but yeah, favourite for me.
It's a stone too, isn't it, to Henderson's also the top two in the market. Flirtatious Girl needed it behind Mullenbeg last time. Sandown will suit. Looks a bit flighty down there. Of course, Willie Mullins has won this race before. Johnny Burke gets a run on Eber Grace. Hope I've said that right. Hidden Beauty stinks in the market. Pulled up last time. A lot of people are expecting that to come back. Harry Fry's got one in there as well. And off and running we go. So, penultimate race of the afternoon here. What fun we're having on Racing Post Live. Oh, the last show before the Cheltenham Roar comes back to us and the Supreme, which we're going to talk to about after this race to Jerry McGrath. But at the moment, what have we got up front? The old Jeffrey Maundle colours. Neil King, Mats Kendrick taking on in Melina Jamila, one of the outsiders. Looking for the well-fancied Lucia. Got a nice toe behind last year's winner, Flirtatious Girl. Nifty Getaway. Put up at some big prices by some of our judges for Archie Watson. And Hamilton Racing, who do win bumpers, mainly associated with the flat. Willie Mullins and a bumper horse, and unbelievably, it's par 5-1, Eber Grace, but that's in midfield at the moment. Looking for the Fav then, Barry Orr, out the back, putting a little bit.
Yeah, now to 2.8, so 15-8 now the favourite. 5.2 Lucia, 8.6 Eber Grace, 7.6 Flirtatious Girl. So she's come in considerably as well, Flirtatious Girl.
Interesting, because she's got that seat, hasn't she? We call it the box seat, of course, in second. And we know she stays. She won the race last year. Yeah,
definitely. Like she said, she's that bit older than some of these fillies too as well, so she's a bit more kind of race hardened. To be fair, Mullenbeg, I did think it was important she settled, and she has relatively very well, really. You know, she can be very buzzy. She's by walking the park. Like a few of these mares are actually walking the park, but It might just get a bit of a run on down the hill here now, but yeah, still you'd be happy if you'd back the Fav.
Yeah, okay, but getting a freebie up front at the moment, very much so. Max Kendrick almost being run away from a little bit on Neil King's mare. They've got him right stretched out. I wonder what comfort zones will be coming out of shortly. Hidden Beauty out the back. Kate, what's catching your eye?
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see how Hidden Beauty travels throughout this, because her debut was it was outstanding. The ride that Liam Harrison gave her at Foss last that day, and you just thought, she is not going to get into this, not a chance. And there she comes from out of the clouds to pick him up. Obviously, she had the irregular heartbeat last time out, but she's just making her way through the field now. Expect her to be ridden in this way, but yeah, probably box seat is Flirtatious Girl. But I am very happy with the favourite, and as Jerry said, how she's been settling.
Yeah, and of course, he won the first race, Milton Harris, and he said this is a better mare to when she won at Cheltenham. She could have rolled the dice against the big boys next Wednesday, but come here to basically get this pot. Let's see if she can make up the ground. Crucial at the moment. When does David Bass make a move? He's in second.
Yeah, I think he's happy, isn't he? Saying that, though, his mare does stay very well, so he definitely won't want to turn it into a sprint. I think Nico's going to be very happy.
He's not moved a muscle, Nico, has he, on Lucia?
And she's got a lovely seam around the inside there as well, even though we spoke about the ground earlier, but she seems to be coping with the ground well.
Yeah, Ill Pie Island, who, of course, was a debutant winner for Rafe Beckett, now with Paul Webber catching my eye, making a bit of ground up. Right, Mullenberg, okay, where does she start going to get rocking and rolling at the moment? Nifty Getaway still going well. That looks like Bryony Frost and Mistress Nell, a good winner at Faking on her debut, not so good last time. She's not totally out of it. It's fairly gem as well. So once we've seen, haven't we, coming into the home straight on this course, they're all plenty with a chance. Only one right out the back at the moment. It's absolutely gone.
Mare, is that
That's Meet You at 9. Dan Skelton's just hating this ground.
I thought it was interesting that they ran her even in this on her rules day. I thought they must have thought quite a bit of her to have done that.
Well, it's black type hunting, isn't it? Sometimes you don't know what you're going to get. But still in the lead, Denning, is Neil King's mare. But you sense it's going to be for how long? Willie Mullins is also on the outside getting it. Lucia at the moment goes inside along with Mullenberg. Difference of opinion then. Bassi coming down side on Flirtatious Girl. Look at this Mullins horse, surely not. Oh my goodness gracious me, what's Lucia got under the belt? This could be first and second favourite. Willie Mullins' horse comes on the bridle. Jerry, what do you reckon?
Come on, Nico.
Come on, Nico, he's in front. He's getting a stone. This is all over, isn't it? Whoosh, away she goes. What sort of form is Nicky Henderson in? Let me tell you, he's about to have a 1 next to his name. Oh, you doubters out there. It's amazing, isn't it? Well done, Jerry. Looks like you got this one in the bag. Mullenberg sunk on the inside. Absolutely no show from her. Willie Mullins, second. Could this be a theme for next week? To Nicky Henderson all the way. Could this be a champion chase rehearsal? But Lucia 2 from 2. You heard Barry saying, wow, in the background there. That was impressive, man.
That was really impressive. Yeah, he put it to bed as soon as he went to the front, was all over. Mullenberg, who travelled well into the straight, Dave, was with them when Eva Grace came on his outside, traded low 1.44 she did. Which is around the 4 to 9 mark. Eva Grace traded at a low in running at 3.75, which is 11 to 4. But your winner was really, really impressive. And I know you're saying, Jerry, there's nothing wrong with the yard and the horses and all that, but I'm sure that's a bit of a relief for everyone connected to Nicky Henderson's, no?
Yeah, and I'd imagine now from a betting point of view, I suppose some of his horses might just start moving in half a point again, that they might have drifted out the last 4 or 5 days. I know that's brilliant. Like I said, my just one worry was just how she'd cope with the ground on a stiff track. But like I said, her dam was very good. She's by a good sire, and hopefully she'll roll on to Aintree now for the Grade 2 mare's bumper.
Yeah. That's got to be the place to go, isn't it? Surely, you would imagine. Yeah, it's a better ground there, wouldn't it go amiss either, would it?
Yeah, and you have to remember she's only a 4-year-old. She's only a young mare. You know, it's just her future's ahead of her, and she's exciting. So no, that's brilliant to get a bit of black type with her.
What have you been making for Gurkha so far?
Yeah, it's interesting because obviously he didn't really make the cut on the flat. No. I think he's actually been shipped out now, isn't he? He's not actually covering.
French Guineas winner, the Gurkha.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he?
Pretty sure,
But yeah, like I said, he's starting to have a few winners over jumps now, and people are actually kind of, he's covering a few jump mares, but it wouldn't be her first choice, sire of choice, but like to be fair, she's going to do the sire no harm anyway.
And that's your double?
Yeah, it's the double up. Yeah.
So we're still waiting.
Yeah, but I think like what Dave said though, even for just everyone's confidence, everyone's point of view, I think that's brilliant. And just to kind of quieten the doubters a small bit, because like I said, the horses are bucking, squealing at home. They're ready for their life next week, and like I said, roll on Tuesday.
And Barry's absolutely right. Nicky will be just that. You're right. Until you see the one,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because it must be quite annoying. Lots would be written about it, I think, going into it.
Yeah, like before Balco Coastal, I wasn't worried at all. But like Balco Coastal, I thought he'd run a big race. So when he kind of just flopped a small bit, I was kind of thinking, oh God.
Maybe there is something.
Yeah,
else.
exactly.
I'm looking to see if there's an excuse for him. Actually, I'll see if I can find that along the way. If you ever want to do that, go on the BHA website. Basically, why they ran badly. It's called looking down. Balco Coastal was unsuited by the going. Says Nicky, basically. So again, it's that quick sort of, and he lost the right iron shoe. But apart from that, just the going. Apparently, he's ran himself into the ground seemingly. But I don't know whether that's an excuse trainers can give when it's a bit pudding-like there. But one more to come from Sandown. We go over the railway fences, 2 mile 4 listed handicap chase. Before we get that up, some more Cheltenham chat. I think you got some limited time offer there, $9.99. If you want to sign up to the members section at the Racing Post, you get absolutely everything. Unrivaled access to our members club. That's all the spotlights, race replays. Of course, you get the RPRs, you get all the analysis, all that sort of stuff. Unmissable. If you haven't got that going into one of the big festivals, well, let's put it this way. It's certainly a big help to have it. So, Lucia, what was the Betfair SP? Just over 4-1 then. Okay, Pricewise having a good day as well, isn't he? Unsurprisingly. Let's get social up on the screen. Tom Barras. Here we go then. Let's get some more chat up. Can Jerry give us one Henderson horse in a handicap for Cheltenham? Ooh. We've spoken about Iron Maximus.
Yeah.
What did you put up last night?
I went for the Kim Ure.
Where were you last night?
I was in John Allen, obviously, who runs and trains all the Manila horses. I was in his hotel in Clonmel last night, Hotel Manila, where we did a preview. I think there was 300 or 400 people there. It was a good night. Wow. And I suppose for the handicaps, the one I kind of put up was Mr. Coffee. Oh,
I'm so happy you went that and not Janica for the Kim Ure. Thank God. Oh, phew.
Yeah, no, I went to Mr. Coffee.
I'm Mr. Coffee.
I thought I said something wrong there for a second.
Oh, no, Kate piped up there, didn't she?
I'm on Mr. Coffee for the Kim Ure, so I'm delighted with that.
Yeah, listen, I'm surprised. We'll get a price off Barry in a minute, but this is an interesting one.
Yeah, definitely. He's still a novice, and obviously he's in open company, but I just, he was obviously second in around Sandown the last day, over 2.5 in a grade 1, even though he made a terrible mistake. He did jump relatively well, bar that one mistake, but up to 3 mile 2, I think is really going to suit him. And going back left-handed, because he can jump left, and he does give away an awful lot of ground when he goes right-handed. So back left-handed is going to be a big advantage to him. Yeah. Sam Whaley-Cohen's been booked. He came in his school. Everything's.
Yeah, I got the scoop on that.
Yeah,
on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Now everyone knows about it.
Yeah, no, I think he's a great shout at kind of 12, 14, maybe price enhanced from Betfair, maybe, I don't know, but yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
My first time.
This is not a Cheltenham preview, Jerry.
You could argue every week is.
The preview last night was sponsored by Bookmaker as well, and he was getting a bit of jib as well, and he enhanced a few prices, and I think his boss.
That's a great preview to sit on, isn't it? I mean, your stock is,
Yeah, it was good. We had Barry Geraghty, Jamie Codd, Kevin Blake. So it was good fun, and John Allen was on the table as well, so it was brilliant. It was good crack.
All right. I mean, you talk, Barry, about relief of Henderson having a winner. I think you'll be relieved as well. Can we get something up on screen for Barry? Can we look at this, Barry? Look, Paul Dean has tweeted in, "I can confirm dinner and drinks are on me on Monday, Barry." Gamble landed.
What a touch.
What a touch. Look at that. So Monday, wherever you're going to be in Cheltenham, I'll tell you what, there'll be a few people phoning up their restaurants saying, if you see a couple of guys corking some Dom Perignon, can you give me a nod? Because I want to come in and have a drink with them. There you go. Paul Dean, what a start. Relief, not just for Henderson, Barry. Great from Louis McKell, our social manager today, who got that on. Well done, guys in the studio, for getting that. Good stuff. Right, 20 minutes until the last then, ish. We talked about Mr. Coffee, who I said to Nicky in the week, he has won that race before at a Kim Ure, of course. But you don't associate him much with the big staying handicaps, do you? Not really, No. Well, let's talk about some of his bigger horses. We've got to talk about the Supreme, haven't we?
Yeah, I think.
He didn't have one runner in a novice hurdle last season.
Yeah, but like I said, it was. I think I like to see it sometimes too. If you don't have a horse good enough, what's the point in going there? And especially last year when it was COVID times, owners couldn't go. Yeah. This famous saying, social runners, there was no point having them. And we didn't have anything good enough. And, what's the point? You know what I mean? So he kept a few for entry, likes of Allart and
Yes.
or not Allart, Dusart and a few other horses. But then this year he just kind of sat in his hands last year, and this year then we've got plenty of exciting novices coming through.
And it could be 1-0 to Britain in the first race because Nicky is double-handed. We wait with bated breath to see what Willie Mullins runs. If you had to put your hat on it, obviously, now it looks like it's going to be Dysart Dynamo.
Yeah.
Who?
No betting.
Yeah, done.
No betting it's Dysart Dynamo.
Done
yeah.
deal.
Yeah, sure. The other horse is odds on now.
Yeah.
Chuck Gerhard's odds on for the Ballymore.
I mean, this is Nicky. This is Willie, sorry.
Yeah.
But, all right, okay. Dysart Dynamo then. Let's go with that. Runs in the Supreme. On paper, a buzzy sort. Supreme's a 1 from the front. We see it with Champagne Fever. And we've seen it with Classical Dream. We see it with loads of them. Probably Duvet did it with Overtor, whoever it was, you know. But theoretically, this ought to set it up nicely for a couple from Seven Barrows who have all through the winter been first or second anti-post favourite. We'll start with the lunatic John Bond.
You're fully labelling him now.
Well,
Fully labelling.
Shoot the messenger.
Jerry
in.
McGrath.
Lunatic tendencies, you said.
Yeah.
John Bond, after the Kennel Gate in Ascot, you know, he's got the breeding, of course, we know that. He cost a bundle. He's owned by JP. He's trained by Nicky.
Yeah.
But now, I don't want to call him the second string, but on this show we sort of tell it how it is. That's kind of what he looks like. On their work at home, they haven't worked together, have they?
No.
I mean, straight face time.
Yeah.
Not that they
100%.
tell you.
100%.
Well, Jerry's quite good with us, Barry. He's pretty.
No, I haven't seen them work together, and I put it out.
Ah, there we go.
That's for sure.
You were mucking out when you were at that point.
Yeah. Exactly.
They ever considered stepping him up in trip, Jerry, you thought, John Bond, no?
I suppose they did, because I suppose both horses were double entered. They were put in the Supreme and the Ballymore. So just had that option. None of them have been left in the Ballymore, obviously, so they're definitely going to run in the Supreme. But yeah, and I think it's an option down the line, but at the moment, there's no real point. They're both showing like they're proper 2-milers at home. They're doing everything nicely. A few people actually said to me last night like that they could actually say, even though Constitution Hill's won a Grade 1, John Bond might have actually stronger form in the Grade 2 at Haydock last time and stuff like that, which is, it's a fair point. But I couldn't knock either of them. You know, they're both extremely talented horses.
Yes, okay, all right. You got the company bit out of the way. Well done. But John Bond, Nicky said to me, "I won't worry if he gets sweaty. That's him. Don't be freaked out by that. Everyone's saying, oh, he's going to freak out and all that sort of stuff. It's just him, isn't it? He has, when he won those first 2 races, which were farcical, with nothing wanting to go on, he jumped beautifully, didn't he?
Yeah.
And actually showed that he can get on with it himself. But we're waiting, aren't we, Kate, for this John Bond? He could be the one horse in the pack who, with a fierce pace, it might be dynamite, mightn't he?
Yeah, oh, Dynamo, nice use of the words and the play on it with the Dysart in there as well. I know that's the only thing, is Dysart Dynamo, he's just a typical Westerner, isn't he? He is just numb. And do you really want to be taking that on? I think that John Bond has the clear pace to take him on. I think he's a faster horse from what we've seen than Dysart Dynamo, but it's just that battle on the front end. Would he want to get into it? But John Bond is a horse where everyone has wanted to crab him. Everyone has wanted to take him on, probably because he has that profile. You know, he's Duvan's brother. He costs an absolute fortune.
Yeah, the price tag sometimes
the price
does go.
tag. Yeah,
I'll tell you why people
horse.
wanted to take him on,
Yeah.
because of Haydock last time.
Yeah,
Because
but
going
he
there,
ran
he
so
was the
much forward.
favourite, wasn't he, until Constitution won in the top. In fact, it was on this show, Barry, wasn't it, where I said, well, he, after Constitution did pretty much what he did on his debut at Sandown, he's not going to usurp John Bond at the head of the market. And lo and behold, you told me, hang on a minute, John Bond out to 9-2, Constitution into 9-4.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the weather does as well for both of them. What's the long-range forecast, does anyone know?
Oh, just
It
getting
is
Not
only
even long range,
smatterings
just
from what I've seen. It's
smatterings.
only
They have to
smatterings.
water, don't they, to ensure good to soft.
That's
I
on
don't
the
know,
new
it's-
course,
it's-
isn't it?
Yeah.
On the
Usually be as
Thursday, yeah.
effective on that better ground, Jerry.
Yeah, it was interesting because, like, I suppose before I kind of thought, you know, Constitution Hill, when he made his debut at Sandown this season, I think it was good to soft. It wasn't typical Sandown grueling ground.
Tingle Creek time, wasn't it?
Yeah, and obviously he won. And then the last day, obviously when he won the Tallworth, it was proper Sandown ground, and he just made light of it. So this week he actually schooled at home and on good ground, like in Lambourne at the moment, it dried up very quickly before we kind of had the rain the last 24 hours. But he schooled, went up over hurdles twice, over 5 hurdles on good ground, and he was he's probably even quicker over the hurdles than he was on soft ground on the track, you know. So before the other day, I might have just thought the ground might be just drying out a bit too much for him. But after seeing him school the other day and the way he coped with that ground, he just pointed his toe. He was electric. So ground won't be a problem.
Oh, I'm
That's
all
music
over
to
it.
my ears.
Let's talk about his work at home, because you wanted to wake him up, didn't you? We won't go into it too much, but it's fair to say he's been working with some interesting horses, hasn't he?
Yeah. Like from day one, like Constitution Hill, he's been a very laid-back workhorse until you get him upside, and you don't even need to push the button. He just comes alive, and nothing can live with him. Whereas John Bond, he's a bit different. He just does what he needs to. Even though he's a buzzier horse, he just does what he needs to. He's very more not workmanlike in his galloping, but he just, like I said, he does what he's asked, and that's it. Whereas Constitution Hill, like he's got some natural speed, you know, for a proper national hunt bred horse. He's got a lot of natural speed, and that's why you think you could run him over 2 miles on Tuesday, you could run him over 3 miles 2 days later. He's just so versatile. And I think you could step him up and trip if you wanted it in time, but if he did win the Supreme on Tuesday, you wouldn't be surprised if he ran the Champion Hurdle next year. You know, he's that sort of horse, and that's the kind of regard we hold him in. And like, that's nothing against John Bond. We hold him in that sort of regard as well. And there probably shouldn't be such a big difference in the price. You know, I think like Kate said there, people are mad to knock John Bond, whether it's just a price tag or his form or what, but the horse has done no wrong yet, you know. And he schooled the other day, and he is very slick as well. And
He is, yeah. He reminds me of Bouvedere.
Yeah, it's a fair point. And I just think the last day at Haydock, the track didn't suit him very well. It was a very Haydock can be a sharp track, and he winged 3 out. He was so slick 3 out, and he landed up the back end of a horse, and Aidan had to take a pull. You know, he nearly clipped a heel. You know, so he had to obviously stop, go around horse, and then go again, which is hard to do on soft ground.
At Haydock especially.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So no, there was like I thought, fair enough. It didn't look the most impressive performance, but when you actually sat down and went through the figures, he won by 7.5 lengths or whatever, beating a solid 130, 132 horse, whatever. So yeah, no, they're going in there. Both of them are fit, healthy. They've had great preps. Touch wood. There's been no flaws whatsoever. So yeah, I just roll on 1/2 on Tuesday.
Who wins the Supreme?
God,
come on,
you didn't tell me going to
had to know that was
spot like this, yeah.
Look, when Altior and Bouvedere lined up against each other, Altior came up on top, and Bouvedere was third, and he went and won 2 champion hurdles.
Yeah, and
right, so finishing third in the Supreme is not going to harm many holes.
Sprinter Sacra.
Sprinter Sacra was fourth, wasn't he, of course?
Spirit Sun finished in front, didn't he?
Spirit Sun,
yeah,
the Spirit Sun.
Was it, yeah.
Who wins?
I'm going to go Constitution Hill.
Yeah, I think we knew that was coming, didn't we? Wasn't that good chat? Happy days. All right. Shall we concentrate on the last race coming up then? Let's get some more graphics back on the screen. Are they with us? And let's try and see what we can do for the final race of the day. It is the 3:35 Barry. There it is, back up and running. Happy days. Welcome down, guys in the gallery. We've got Kieran and Will pressing the buttons for us today in sterling fashion. One more to come, Barry. I said yesterday, rain, stay away. This will be Danny Kerwin's day. Unfortunately, it's come.
Yeah, the rain's come from. He was impressive last day, but he's a horse that, by and large, has been very disappointing. You'd have to think. Now, they say, or Paul Nicholls always said, chasing was going to be his game. And he did jump well, let's say, last day that he won, but he's out to 5.6, Dave. The mover in the race, Seen Not Heard for Johnny Burke, 3.5, very strong at the head of the market, 5.9. Frenchy Delarge, Dorking Lad 6.8, along with Killer Kane, and 11.5, the other Paul Nicholls runner in a Flick of YU. So it's a race that I was looking to lay Danny Kerwin, but I'm not going to be laying him at 5.7, which is 9-2. It seems a very big price to me indeed. I was looking to lay him. It was about a 3-1 chance earlier on today. There's bags of speed in this race. You've got Frenchy Delarge is going to be on it. Danny Kerwin potentially, but definitely will try to lead. Seen Not Heard will try to lead as well. So might just set it up for a finisher, and one in behind, maybe Killer Kane for Brendan Pell. I'm giving that a bit of a chance just with the pace angle in the race. Obviously, one last day out in Kempton, 1 length and a half that day was in the first time tongue tie, which obviously stays on today, and he's off 126. So we're just going to have 25 quid in him, please, Kate, at 6.8 is our last play of the day. He's actually 7 now. So 6-1, Killer Kane, 25 quid win.
£25, Kate.
£25, not adding extra. Absolute baller here before.
Look, he's having dinner paid for him, but he's not that generous. Yeah, Killer Kane, that's a strange old market, this, Barry, absolutely. I think it's, in the words of Dizzy Rascal, bonkers, the price about Danny Kerwin. Pat Doyle had this chap, didn't he? Like he had Appreciate It as well. Do you remember when he won his Irish Point? And Pat was interviewed recently. He said that the one horse that has plagued me since I got rid of him, I thought he was going to be the next Walking on Water, was Danny Kerwin. And it's fair to say he's got a couple of screws loose, but it did come right last time at Wincanton. We haven't changed his handicap mark, Jerry, but our handicapper at the post gave him 130 for that, so he didn't even think he ran up to his mark. But my regard, the Scopey show, if he gets a freebie, if he goes over the railway fences, I think he will make this price look crazy. I'm sort of taking a deep breath because I'm naught from going into the final race with the one last show before Cheltenham. And I'm relying on Danny.
You're relying on...
You put a lot of ifs before all those sentences.
Did I say if? The word if there?
Yeah, a lot there.
Oh, the journalists get used to it.
Back to kind of stable form, I wonder if Venetia Williams' stable was in better form, would Frenchie Delarge not be favoured?
I led that with an if.
Well, true. Yeah, I'm running off the best.
You are.
I think he's got a great chance. I think he loves
Frenchie
the ground.
Delarge, he'll like the rain, won't he?
Yeah, I think this is his race to lose.
What do you make of Charlie Deutsch this season?
Oh, incredible. Just such
Top guy, isn't he?
Yeah, just so laid back. Obviously, Kate knows him as well. He's just he's just so down to earth. Really good lad.
It's been a rocky road, isn't it, to this time for him, but loyalty rewarded.
Yeah, definitely.
I've been lucky enough to speak to him in interviews. He just comes over like a really nice bloke. Everyone you talk to him about says he's great. He keeps it simple. He's very good over a fence, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. He's very natural, isn't he? He's a real horseman. He rides with a bit of leg.
He looks a bit old school, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does nothing fancy.
A bit of Lenzio about him.
Yeah, come on. That's very harsh now.
I'll take that one out for him.
And I'm good friends with Andrew, but that's very harsh.
Don't worry. I've got Charlie on the hook. Don't worry about it. He's good. He'll come back on.
I know, like I said, he's a brilliant horseman. And like you said there, it comes down to loyalty and fair play to Venetia and the team. They stood by him while he went through a very kind of tough time of his life. But, I think since he's come back he's stronger than ever, and, fair play to him.
Wasn't it great to see him on this show a couple of weeks ago when he went on Good Risk at All at Ascot? Yes. And I think he got a lot of jip on the WhatsApp groups from the jockeys because he had a look through his legs before the home turn. Charlie, you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
There's confidence and there's confidence. Of course, he won as he liked on the bridle. Yeah. But what does Kate like in the final race?
Frenchie Delarge as well. Really like him. Yeah, I think he is way overpriced there. And I say with Venetia Williams, again, there was lots of talk about her stable form, but she sort of voiced that herself, though. Basically, Venetia took it upon herself to put it out there that a few of her horses did have the snotty noses, but with a yard of that size, you're not going to have horses that aren't. I was just concerned the fact she felt the need to voice it necessarily. But, I really liked her team going into the festival. Unfortunately, none of her horses are going in the races I thought they were going in, basically, which is very frustrating them from my point of view. But, the pair of them seemingly back in better form, with a blip of maybe a week. But, Frenchie Delarge, again, it's an unbelievably trappy race. I am slightly concerned about the pace angle therefore for him. But as I say, I'm going to chance Frenchie Delarge because we have a whole host of last time out winners in this race. Actually isn't a positive for this race. So Frenchie Delarge, he may have been foiled for that that hat trick then last time out, but I think he can go back to winning ways. He ran a solid race last time out, posting a career best RPR, the same as his penultimate start in that as well. And he just came up against the horse, bringing up a 4th course and distance win, I believe, in those suitable conditions. Yeah. So, and he was 17 lengths clear of the 3rd, so he has to be given another chance off of a £1 lower mark. So, Frenchie for me as well.
All right, okay, all right. There we are. That's tips for the last. And you're bidding to top and tail the show, and you both agreed on the first one.
Yeah, bookending this now, hopefully.
Dream team.
Right, okay. Listen, cream always rises, guys. Okay, Barry. Seen and not heard. He's the 1-1-1 horse coming into it, but it's a different kettle of fish. This, but a punter's not going to push him out at all, are they?
No, he's steady. He's very strong at around the 5-2 mark, 3.55. Seen not heard. His win last day marks him out as a horse going in the right direction, beating Manila Trump. Although he was an even money chance, but. He's off 134. There's not a whole lot between a lot of them at the top of the market. 134 down to Frenchie Delarge, who's 132. So market 132. Flick of Voyou is one that would have a bit of a chance as well for Paul Nicholls around is the outsider to field at 12, Dave. The only horse in double figures and not without a chance. It's a trappy little race, this. It's not a race that you'd want to be getting seriously involved in, I don't think.
Yeah, Keeley's put him up actually in the Sizzlers today in the paper, Flick of Voyou. He thinks Bryony might take this out, obviously. Okay, we've got a social on the screen there. Alex Jeffries snuck in. And he said, no sibling ever won the same big race 7 years after. Well, that would be 7 years a bit specific, Alex. But I take your point. John Bond will be setting new records if he does. Can't have him for my money. It does seem weird how racing Twitter's gone against John Bond. I think it's because of Haydock. I think if it can, I don't know, what do you expect to see? From a technical point of view, horses in work and stuff like that, and I kind of know what the answer is going to be here. You want to see them coming off the bridle, don't you? Learning, do you know what I mean? You want to see them.
Yeah, I suppose it depends.
Before Cheltenham, do you know what I mean?
Depends what they're working against, I suppose. You don't want them off the bridle.
What about in a race? Because
Santini.
What price was John Bond to win at Haydock is what I'm getting at, and he was more workmanlike than everyone thought, wasn't he? What was the? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah, and like you said, when you actually sat down, like fair enough, visually it mightn't have been the most impressive, but from a horseman's point of view, sometimes you have to, it can't always be hard on the bridle, winning easily. And I can see your point, and obviously Constitution Hill, he's routed his last 2 races, and on very soft ground, everything like that, and he's beat what's put in front of him when he had grade 1 along the way. So yeah, it's like you said, but I think John Bond, I think he's being overlooked, and as if like we were saying earlier, just as if people want him to get beat kind of thing, which is
I can't wait. I'd love to see him being held up off a proper pace, John Bond. Let's get another social up. Steve Cooper, welcome along, Steve. Says John Bond will prove you wrong. Ooh. There you go. Look, bit of love out there finally. For goodness sake, this is an unbelievable horse we're talking about, isn't it? And it's just at Cheltenham, is it? I say it every year. It's the one as a pundit, whether a punter, whatever you're doing. Probably jockey as well. You've got to take on your favourite horses. Yeah. We love John Bond, don't we? Know he's a classy horse, but you've got to turn on them a bit from a punting perspective, you know?
No, I'm sure that's what I'm getting with Shishkin, even, because I love him. I absolutely adore him, and I didn't want to take him on. I didn't want to have an opinion in the Champion Chase, full stop. I just wanted to enjoy it, but as soon as I say, I got writing that piece, and then I was asked for an opinion, and it's kind of snowballed now that I feel like I'm sort of leading the way as a flag bearer for that. But like you say, from a punting perspective, it's now led me to take on Shishkin at that price. But I would be over the moon to see the horse win.
Keith Melrose is in the Energamine camp as well. I did a good piece in the paper about that. So, okay, more Cheltenham chat, of course, along the way. This is the last chance you get to have a shout out. We'll try and build them up if you get it. Great to have you watching us this afternoon. It's been fantastic to have Jerry McGrath making his debut on the show. Won't be the last time you're in here, hopefully, Jerry.
Yeah, and I think if I do come back, I'll have to get my stats up to date because you're very good with your...
You're sitting next to the talking form book that is Kate Tracey, you see. Most people just come in with a paper and a phone, first of all.
Jerry's had nothing and been able to reel off all of this.
This paper's 2 weeks old. It looked good.
But you came here on a winner, didn't you? Because should we talk about your greyhounds? Because they...
Yeah, go on. So I suppose
because Kate, you've been greyhound racing with Jerry, haven't you?
Yeah, Kieran basically is he likes wheeling and dealing in greyhounds, and he managed to get Jerry to buy into one of his
just
dogs.
two of you?
No, there's a syndicate of us, myself, David Bass, 1 or 2 of the valets.
Wow.
And to be fair to Kieran, he kept the share himself, so that gave us a bit of confidence.
A bit of confidence, he's in it as well.
Oh,
just so we could go along as well with the ticket.
And you had right success yesterday, didn't you?
Yeah, was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. Yeah, was it yesterday, man? Yeah, it was. Yeah,
sort of goes one in or
Kate's so
one ear
busy,
and out
doesn't
the
even
other.
know.
Yeah,
So
I
used
was
to
just gonna
6 or
say,
whatever,
yeah.
7 length.
Yeah, it was because I was
old hat.
I was driving down the M4 yesterday going to Heathrow, and he ran actually. Yeah, so it was yesterday, and yeah, he was impressive. He's a bang railer. He doesn't like coming off it, but when it works out, he's very good.
Loves running into the back of other dogs.
Yeah, yeah. You'd love to see the betting and running with him sometime. Yeah, it would be interesting.
Okay, great stuff. All right, so there you go. A little bit more insight there as well. Barry, we're nearing the end of the show. Then the penultimate one before Cheltenham. All next week, you'll be with us. Cannot wait for it, man. We know you got your dinner paid for. But if you had to give us one banker, please, Barry, for the week, and not something obvious that you said on the previews, who are you coming round to as the festival gets nearer?
Well, my banker was pulled out on Wednesday evening. Manila Crooner was my banker in the Albert Bartlett. But there's a horse in the Albert Bartlett that I was really fearful of, and he's Henry de Bromhead's Chartreuse that won in Clonmel recently, a race that he's won before Henry before going on to land. And the Albert Bartlett as well. So, yeah, that's a horse that I think will be a nice price. He's currently around a 14-to-1 chance, and he could go well. Outside of that, I've had a couple of bets in the. I'm just watching this race in Linkfield's about to go off, where you put up Reb.
Hang on, see what he's done here. I've put it up.
You, Dave.
We love to put the pressure on each other. Okay, yeah.
Well, it went off 5-4. So
Okay. Yeah, okay. We're watching it now as well. We'll have a bit of fun with that, shall we? This is the horse that beat Tinkertoy, and apparently I've put it here. See,
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
we like to have a bit
You
of
told
jousting.
everyone to back it earlier. You told everyone to back it earlier.
I told him it was running. Yeah, well,
You made a point.
I'll tell you to go back and rewind, hopefully, in about 2 minutes' time.
Yeah.
It's out the back. Last to first, please, Tadru. But we won't ask you for your big lays of the week, Barry, because you're going to be coming on each day. But I've worked luckily with you now for a couple of years, and it's something that you really like to get stuck into, the juicy lays, isn't it?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I suppose Shaka Perswa was my big lay last year. I thought there was a bit of a doubt about him.
Oh, wow.
Having the constitution to come up that hill. And thankfully we got that right. He went off 4-7. He's not the colour of that this year, obviously. It's hard to see what's going to beat Honeysuckle in the champion hurl.
Yeah.
You couldn't really put anything up against her with confidence. Like, she could underperform and still win. It looks a dead match between Galopin Deschamps and Bob Ollinger. It's not a race to have a strong opinion in there from a betting point of view, as your horse comes from last.
Go on then, you good thing. Go on, Tadri. Over the top, you good thing. Come on, hang on a minute.
Is he going to get it?
I told you.
No question.
Easy money.
There you go.
You're right. I did put it up, Barry. Absolutely right.
You're not going home with a
Hey, Dave's Lingfield tip. Perfect ride there. A 5-4 shot. I needed that win.
Here's your one for the day now.
6-5.
The duck egg's gone, thank God, before Danny Kerwin comes out to play. Yeah, but Barry, you'll be giving us at least 2 juicy days a day, won't you?
Well, I'm not going to put any number on it and back myself into a corner, but yeah, I'd be looking to take on some of the short ones.
Yeah.
But, it's kind of, there's some of those races, it's black or red, isn't it? Like, especially Triumph Hurl's the same. It's Vauban or Pied Piper, and the Turners is the same in that it's Bob Ollinger or Galopin Deschamps. So it's kind of Bill or Ben in those races. But yeah, there's a couple of handicaps as well where once we get the final decks for them and see the makeup of the races, that I've got a couple of sneaky fancies in.
Brilliant. Can't wait to have Barry with us each and every day from Presby Park. It's going to be so exciting now, isn't it? Now I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready. The show's nearly done. We've got 48 hours just to somehow pass. Who wins the Gold Cup, Jerry McGrath?
Ooh.
You've just done a preview, man. You must have...
Yeah, and you know what? I couldn't get over the amount of people yesterday that were very, very sweet on Manila Indo. We were in the Manila Hotel, so maybe they were scared about who was paying for dinner.
Partner winner.
But they really thought he was going to come alive. They couldn't have on Plutard, who I'm a big fan of.
Yeah.
I think what he did at Haydock this year, fair enough.
He's the best form in the race.
Yeah, definitely. And I just thought before Haydock, I just worried how he'd cope with better ground. And that day at Wetherby, or at Haydock, he was incredibly impressive. And I think the last he did nothing wrong. At Leopardstown, things probably just didn't go right on the day, during the race. But like, I'm a big fan of the horse. I think it's probably not the easiest thing. Well, you should tell me with your stats. How hard is it for a horse to finish second and come back and win?
Very, very difficult.
Is it?
And that's about it, I think.
Yeah. Well, I'm a big fan of the horse. So people last night were worried that he doesn't properly stay, which I thought was interesting.
It's easy to be in that camp, and after the Savills, in fact, they're off and running at Sandown. There you go. Joe McGrath thinks that Plutarch will become a man and do a Carto Star, and I think he'll go off Fav. You're probably right, but I'm hoping Danny Kerwin comes up in front here. Then good luck this afternoon. It's been great to have you with us. Oh, that's the huge Danny Kerwin that I know. The scope this boy's got is incredible. He's either brilliant or he's a little bit sketchy. How is he over the railways? Over and lovely. Killer Kane, Barry's selection up there, keeping him company. Seen and not heard, just taking the lead. Flick and Voyeur on the outside under Bryony. Frenchy du Large now coming down for a share of the lead as well. And one really struggling already. It's the hat-trick seeking Dorking boy for Gary Moore. In fact, he's really not taking a cut at it whatsoever. I'm not going to say it though, Barry, or don't put a 0 on him just yet.
You'll have to explain that to Jerry later on when we have a bit of time, because the horse is back travelling okay. He got a bit spooked, I think, after jumping the first couple, but they're all travelling well in themselves. He is out to 14 though, Dorking boy, 6.8 Killer Kane, 4 seen not heard, 4.2 Danny Kerwin. So Danny Kerwin getting the lead, seeing his price shorten just a little.
Yeah, he's very good, or he's in a little bit close. You see what I mean by that?
And he dwarfs some of these horses, isn't he? He must
He's
be
a
well.
9-year-old now. It shows you how his career's gone.
Yeah, I think he's been a
We
bit
won that
fragile.
bumper and went to Aintree, didn't he? And it all went wrong. And
Yeah.
he ran in kennel gates and things like that, and he couldn't quite get up. But we're coming into home straight for the first time and seen not heard. This is an acid test for the favourite, and he's not really convincing thus far. As Frenchy Delarge comes down for a bit, Kate.
Yeah, no, he's having a lovely time there up in front, isn't he? He hasn't missed a beat jumping wise. It's an ever so slight peck on landing. That's always a tricky fence there, and he's jumped that beautifully. And I'm happy he's throwing it down to Danny Cohen as well, because we know that Danny Cohen can can tend to sulk then.
Yes, well, that's a fair way of saying it, I think. So it's interesting, isn't it? Harry Cobden's he's not panicking, is he? But I wonder if he can really do much about it. Charlie Deutsch likes to get on with it, doesn't he?
Yeah, and it was just interesting because sometimes he, out from the gate, he can just let them rock on. But he was just keen to get a lead over the first couple of fences there. But he's got into a nice rhythm and let him stride on. And more importantly, I think the horse, once he's hit the front, he just pricked the ears. He just setting the fractions nicely.
Okay, all right. If Dorking Lad had anyone else but Jamie Moore on, I would be nearly thinking this has got no chance. But Jamie, when he gets the bit between his teeth, a bit like Paddy Brennan, it becomes a challenge he must conquer.
Yeah.
And he's certainly proving a bit of a challenge at the moment. Flickervoyo, not totally sure how that one's going on the outside.
The market doesn't want the favourite. He's out to 8, seen not heard, 8.0. But Frenchy Delarge trading at 2.68 now.
Well, that is very well. I think
be bigger now.
I think well, that wasn't a great jump for him, was it? We do commentators' curses in here, but it's probably because they're looking at Danny and thinking, well, he's got Danny to beat. But come on, Danny, stride on. When I get involved in these, I quite like these. Maybe I can scream him home. And this is key, I think.
That'll be some closing race double for you.
Well, absolutely. The nap of the day at Lingfield. Brucey bonus, absolutely along the way. Okay, come on then. Keep going then, Danny. I don't want to see him getting eyeballed, really. Just watch him come up over these fences. Woo! It is poetry in motion. Killer Kane then. A horse that they always thought the world of at the Tizzles. Cost a bundle. Yeah. But in the Lost in Translation colours, what do you reckon, Kate?
Oh, yeah, Killer Kane's a horse that he's frustrated me so much in his career so far because I have sided with him on most of his rules starts and he's let me down on most occasions, and I didn't side with him last time out and he came good at Kempton. So, yeah, he's a horse that I thought had an awful lot of ability. He just hasn't been showing it. He has that slightly ungainly head carriage where I sort of didn't trust him, but last time out, I find him impossible to weigh up that horse.
Yeah, all right, it was between me, Barry, and the guys sitting next to me as well. We're up in the top three, and Danny Cohen wasn't great there. Flickervoyo also wasn't great. This is key for Danny Cohen here. I think if he comes up, he'll just go and probably see them all off. I think.
Jumped wonderfully.
Frenchy Delarge wasn't great there. I wonder exactly what Charlie Deutsch is sitting under. We're about to find out. This is the final railway fence, I think. So that's 4 out as Danny stretches the legs. Now, seen and not heard hasn't been going great. This is the acid test for him. What's he got in the locker? I suspect he's holding a little bit back. The Fav, do you think, in 4th?
Yeah, he's just been, like you said, he's up in grade again. You know, he's improved, 25, 30 pound, and it's a big step up in class again. But he was just kind of on and off the bridle. But he seems to, the further he's going, the more he's coming back on the bridle and the better he's travelling.
You can tell that Harry Cobden doesn't want to quite ask. It's all got to be just on Danny Cohen's terms because the closers are coming now as we come up to the world famous pond fence. 3 out. And look at this, Jamie Moore. Blooming typical Jamie Moore. He's absolutely somehow got Dorking Lad interested on the outside. Wouldn't be surprised if he goes and wins now. But Danny Cohen's still in front. And Killer Kane all of a sudden. Probably the one for the exchanges. Seen and not heard looks beaten. Frenchy Delarge checking out the back. It won't be a top and tail for Jerry or Kate. Flickervoyo then. Danny Cohen, not a chance for me, surely. And okay, 2 out. Frenchy Delarge. Paul Keeley will be probably at the track. Frenchy Delarge has gone. Let's hope he's up okay. Killer Kane, Barry. This could be it. This could be the green rising in the last.
He comes good again.
Okay, one more good jump, then he probably ought to see it up best of the hill. He's over okay. What's Brian? He saved. It's a 2-horse race. Jamie Moore just couldn't quite get a bet. This is a typical Sandown finish. They're walking. Looks like Killer Kane's going to do it. The head carriage is there, but the Tizards have got it right, and so has Barry. Yes, he's run across him. That won't bother you, Barry.
I think he'll hold on to it. He's won convincingly at the finish. Well, he kind of head went up in the air when he got to the front after jumping the last. I'd say he might be struggling to breathe. That's where they used the tongue tie on him, but he's improved significantly for the application of that tongue tie. He had a Betfair SP of 7.16, and we had a couple trades short in behind. Obviously, Flickervoyo, the second string of Paul Nichols, trade at 2.44, so just 11 to 8. Dorking Lad trade at a low, Dave, of 3.3. That's 9 to 4. Hard to believe. Frenchy Delarge trade at a low of 2.42. Danny Kerwin of 2.54. Unbelievable race in terms of in-running prices. They all traded around 6 to 4 at one stage or the other.
It feels like we've been at Sandown all afternoon, as we obviously have, but that was the first race over fences, would you believe it? I think Danny Kerwin back on a flatter track, maybe some better ground, maybe, but he sulked a bit, didn't he? And he looks like a bit of a individual, doesn't he, Killer Kane? But yeah, he's getting it right now.
Yeah, that's the thing with Killer Kane. This is why, I mean, I've sided with him. It feels like every single time he's run, apart from the two last runs where he's won on both occasions. You wonder about that tongue tie going on at Kempton and again fitted here. I mean, he has that head carriage, but perhaps there is just that wind issue, why he sticks his nose up in front of him.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, maybe he's just struggling a little bit to get that wind in.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's but he hasn't had a wind operation. I just double-checked there in his career that we've seen. So I wonder if at some point he might just receive one of those.
Well, he's winning, and that's what matters, isn't it? And Barry, well, we were struggling for winners, but we've had a final double, me and you.
Between us, Dave, we got there at the finish, didn't we?
We got there in the end. And we're going into Cheltenham on a high. That's the main thing, Barry. Barry, it's been great to have you with us, showcasing the functionality of the exchange for the viewers out there. Cannot wait to see you, man. The countdown's on now. Desperados, but not too many, please.
No, quiet night tonight now. And just to remind everyone as well that the Betfair offer still runs up to tomorrow, where you bet 20 on horse racing on the sportsbook or the exchange, and we'll give you a £10 free bet. Add that to your free bet pot. And if you've been using it the last 3 weeks, or you've been betting that way for the last 3 weeks, well, obviously you'll have £30 come Monday to play with for Cheltenham. But even if you haven't been involved in the last couple of weeks, it's still not too late. Bet 20 on the exchange on horse racing between now and Sunday evening and get a £10 free bet.
Grow that raw. Thank you, Barry. Sterling work. Thank you, Jerry McGrath. Has it been fun? Listen, I've been giving you pelters all afternoon. You can say no.
Yeah, to be fair, when I woke up at 4:30 this morning when my alarm went off, I was thinking, oh God.
Dave Orton awaits.
Dave Orton. I couldn't very easily miss this plane, but yeah, no, it was definitely worth it. Thank you for having me.
Sterling, and I know the viewers have absolutely loved it. We've got great feedback coming in. And listen, enjoy the week. We'll see you obviously Wednesday morning on our channels, but you'll be back on Race Post Live. Promise us that?
Yeah, we'll do.
Great stuff. Have a great week, Joe. Kate. Fantastic to have you back in.
Yeah, great to be back in the studio as well.
Yeah,
rather than my living room last time.
Well, that was an absolute sterling shift. So again, very quiet now to the storm.
No, not really. I need to go and meet up with Mullins' lot tomorrow morning. Right.
Do you know which horse you're looking after yet?
No, I don't.
Not yet.
Hopefully a
No.
bus. Hopefully an absolute bus then, and then another preview tomorrow in the middle of the day, and then it's all go from then. So
Brilliant. Yeah. All right, great stuff. Great to have Kate with us along the way. Great to have you watching with us. Don't forget, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and we'll be back to review it on Saturday with the Midlands National as well. I've been Dave Orton. This has been Racing Post Live. Until then, enjoy the sport.